So he's going to have to brake a few more times, and then maybe we can make a race out of it.
And Earnhardt is slow.
Earnhardt is broken on the backstretch. What a unbelievable change of circumstances here. That's for sure.
Well, Marion come out of it. We're sitting there, we got a lap down because it was flat at first. Sitting there just running at a pretty good pace. The brakes is getting a little warm, but we still had good brakes and everything.
It's really going good. I mean, we closed a lot of points on him.
Rusty didn't gain them, we lost them.
Hey, we had our bad luck early. He had his bad luck late.
We're still 82 ahead, so we're still out front. He's still got to catch us.
We're down to the last 5 races, and the battle for the $1 million championship is down to 82 points. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina for the Tyson Holly Farms 400. The weather is picture perfect. Sunny skies, a comfortable temperature, and only a 10% chance of rain. There is now only an 82-point separation between Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace after Dale's second straight low finish at Martinsville last week. Dale Jarrett is back to third. Mark Martin dropped to fourth. Both are less than 300 points out of the lead. Morgan Shepherd remains solidly in fifth. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins. This is the final short track race of the '93 season. It's been a season totally dominated by Rusty Wallace. Dale Earnhardt has not won a short track race since 1991. That was here at North Wilkesboro. Last week, an emotional win for Ernie Irvan. In only his 4th race for the Robert Yates Texaco Haviland team, Ernie won the pole and then led 402 laps en route to victory. It was a win that evoked many emotions, both happy and sad.
I knew we could do it. This is for Davey.
Ernie choked back the tears in memory of the late Davey Allison. He has won the pole again today here at North Wilkesboro. Here is Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Bob. Incredibly, there were those detractors who believed that Ernie Irvan didn't belong as Davey Allison's replacement in this race car. Some based on personality, others based on talent. But many have changed their mind following last week's domination by Ernie at Martinsville, an emotional personal tribute to Davey Allison. Ernie, last time we spoke last Sunday, there was so much emotion flowing in Victory Lane.
Well, I tell you, there sure was. You know, the most emotion probably flowed with me when I was coming down pit road, and it was all empty, and Bobby Allison stepped over the wall about all the way into pit road and gave me the thumbs up sign, and that's always a good feeling, you know, when you win no matter what, but when it comes from Bobby, and just emotions from that. But, you know, Davey's kind of like going to be our teammate for the rest of my career, the rest of the time I drive for Robert Yates Racing, and he's going to be a part of this race team.
Indeed, he'll always be a part of this race team, but the focus shifts now to winning a 400-lapper here at North Wilkesboro. So much emotion flowing on pit road as we are set to fire the engines.
And the lucky prize winner from a drawing at Tyson Foods to present the 4 most famous words in motorsports, Beverly Settles.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Folks, I'm telling you, as these cars start up, everyone is focused on the Winston Cup points battle. Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt. Can Wallace get him? But there's some more guys here that have butterflies right now because they need to win some races. Bill Elliott last year won. He hasn't won this year. Darrell Walter, Harry Gant, Ned, these guys need a victory.
Yes, they do, and they're going to be going out there trying to get it today. They don't care anything about the championship. They know they're out of the battle as far as winning the championship this year. Sort of like, you know, when the Colorado Rockies went to Atlanta to try to beat the Braves, keep them from winning the championship. They got some things to prove themselves. So did the Dodgers trying to knock the San Francisco Giants out of it. They have things that they got to prove out here, and so I think we'll see some real racing back in there that won't concern the championship here this afternoon.
And used to, these guys could lay back. They could lay back for 300 laps, and that last 100 laps try to win the race. But John Kernan, that's not the case anymore, is it?
You're exactly right, Benny. Take last week, for instance, 500 laps. If it were 400 laps like today's race,
the points leader, Dale Earnhardt, would have finished 5th. He wouldn't have lost his big points lead to Rusty Wallace. And that is a key here at North Wilkesboro. Last year in this very same race, 31 out of 32 cars running at the finish. The 31st place car only 17 laps down. So, Bob, they have to stay on the racetrack and stay as near to the lead pack as they possibly can. And 34 drivers are hoping they will be at the front of the field when the checkered flag is dropped at about 3 hours from now. Here's the starting lineup for today's Tyson Holly Farms 400. The pole sitter is Ernie Irvin from Modesto, California, and the Texaco Haviland Ford, car number 28. Outside is Ricky Rudd in the Tide Chevrolet, car number 5. The third starting position goes to Kyle Petty in the mellow yellow Pontiac, car 42. Then Terry Labonte on the outside of the second row in the Kellogg's Chevrolet, car number 14. Harry Gant will start in 5th position in the Skoal Bandit number 33, and then Mark Martin in the Valvoline Ford, car number 6, starting in 6th position. In the 4th row, it's Darrell Waltrip from Franklin, Tennessee in the Western Auto Chevrolet. Alongside is Bill Elliott in the Budweiser Ford, car number 11. The 5th row consists of the Raybestos Ford, driven by Sterling Marlin from Columbia, Tennessee, and then the current points leader in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, Dale Earnhardt in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet number 3. Rusty Wallace will start in 11th position. He drives the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. And then Ken Schrader from Fenton, Missouri in the Kodiak Chevrolet, car number 25. 13th starting position goes to Rick Mast from Rockbridge, Bass, Virginia, car number 1, and then Hut Strickland. And we take a look at the rest of the starting lineup for today's race as the cars remain on pit road, getting their engines warm before a couple of warm-up laps.
Bob, only 0.4 of a second separated the qualifiers here for this field. That is extremely close. In fact, you can't blink your eye that fast. So there's some awfully good cars as we see back. There's the Bodines back in the field. Look for them to come up through there. John Andretti making his first race.
And Jay Hedgecock there in car number 78. Not a name very familiar to NASCAR Winston Cup fans. So there is the starting lineup for today's race as they begin now to move onto the racetrack. Here is the Busch track description at North Wilkesboro Speedway here in North Carolina. It's a .625 mile oval. The speed was 116.7 for the pole at a time of 19.266 seconds. We'll go 400 laps. The field separated by a half second. Here's North Wilkesboro Speedway.
And down the front straightaway, Bob, it is actually downhill by 3 or 4 degrees. Turns 1 and 2, turns 1 and 2, bank 14 degrees, and they go uphill back down the backstretch. It is banked 3 degrees, but it's about 3 degrees uphill. And 3 and 4 once again. That corner is banked 14 degrees. And the front straightaway is the same length as the back straightaway. And both of them are banked 3 degrees to the inside, but again, the front stretch is banked about 3 degrees downhill.
And the pits are located only on the front stretch here as we get a look from the Family Channel blimp hovering overhead North Wilkesboro Speedway as the field continues to be under a pace lap. Here is the in-car camera that will be carried by Mark Martin in today's race. Lake Speed will also have one in the Motorcraft Ford car number 15 and the 21 Citgo Ford driven by Morgan Shepherd.
See these guys weaving back and forth, back and forth. They got to make sure that they get all the debris off the tires so when they go down that corner that first time, that tires will stick, won't slide across the racetrack.
They were going to get the green, but they are not. They are one more lap. We will take a break and come back with the start of the race. New advanced high-tech formula Quaker State Motor Oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines. By Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Allied Signals Ram filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. Well, they continue to, as many racetracks do, build seats, and they continue to fill them as they are filled to capacity for this race. Jerry Punch, why are they taking a couple of extra warm-up laps?
Bob, it's a beautiful, crisp, cool morning here in the Brushy Mountains of North Carolina, and even though it's warmed up in the afternoon, the oil temperature on some of the cars not coming up quite as quickly as expected. So the NASCAR gave the crews and drivers an extra lap and a half or so to get the oil temperature up. Both the 28 car, the 33, and a couple others said our temperature isn't up high enough yet to rev the engine for a green flag start, so they gave them an extra lap, and we'll get green this time by. Bob?
Yes, the pace car is pulling off of the racetrack, and we're set to go for 400 laps here at North Wilkesboro and the Tyson Holly Farms 400. The green is out. Oh, and problems here at the very beginning. Jeff Gordon and Jeff Bodine is also involved. Also,
Derek Cope, but he backs up and pulls away, and Lake Speed was involved a little farther down the racetrack.
Boy, we have got nearly a blocked racetrack here on the front stretch. The field comes down and takes the caution flag, but boy, we have some very badly damaged race cars. Those three that you see there, Jeff Gordon, Jeff Bodine, and Morgan Shepherd, very badly tore up. Here's John Kernan.
Bob, it happened right in front of me as they came to the green flag. Mark Martin apparently did not get up to speed fast enough. Bill Elliott hit him from behind, and he had to get on the brakes really quickly. And after that, you just saw it bunch up, and the track is fairly narrow right there, and there was nowhere for a lot of these race cars to go.
Jeff Bodine got out of the car. He went over to each car, and I think he simply said, "Are you okay?" And when they said, "Yeah," he continued to walk there into the garage area. But, boy, what a way to start this thing, huh? Just a few feet past the start-finish line.
Well, we'll take a look. It was a slow start. They came right down to the start-finish line before they got the green flag. And you can see them start bunching up. Hut Strickland, he has a lot of damage to his car, and you saw the 24 car of Jeff Gordon shoot across into Morgan Shepherd and Lake Speed in the red number 15 down here, and then Jeff Bodine, of course, was hit. He was in the white number 7. Derek Cope just pulled up behind him, and he got stopped back there. But the car number 27 of Hut Strickland does have a lot of damage. The 16 car has a lot of damage on it, Wally Dallenbach Jr.
Here's how the chain reaction happened. Dale Jarrett getting bounced around a little. Todd Bodine also was involved, but he was able to drive out of it. Wally Dallenbach close to being involved.
He's got some damage to the right side of his car.
So Jay Hedgecock in the 78 was able to get through there as well.
Jeff Gordon is out of the car. He's okay.
Well, what a disappointment for all of them, because they all went into this race feeling that they had a good shot at winning. And those chances have been taken away by poor many here.
And the Family Channel people that just bought the Carolina Opry and the Dixie Jubilee down in Myrtle Beach thought it was going to get some publicity today from Jeff Bodine's car. Folks, there it is, the Dixie Jubilee. You won't see it anymore today.
That's about all you're going to get, and unfortunately it isn't the way we wanted to present the publicity, but that's racing. 3 cars badly damaged here just after the green flag at North Wilkesboro. Cleaning up the damage here just past the start-finish line as 3 cars, Jeff Gordon, Jeff Bodine, and Morgan Shepherd were involved. There goes Jeff Gordon's car back to the garage area.
Something strange here. See Jeff go down. Now watch the replay. We see that Bill Elliott is the guy in the Budweiser Ford that did not get a particularly good start. If we roll the tape, you'll see that the red car does not start very well. Dale Earnhardt taps him in the back. Schrader hits both Earnhardt. And we see Schrader's car get almost turned sideways by the 27 car.
And look how far down the track Rusty Wallace, he saw what was happening there. He drove completely out of the way of it.
Wanted to get out of there as quickly as possible so that he wouldn't be involved. But there are the cars spinning and hitting the wall. You saw Morgan Shepherd, how he drove into Jeff Gordon once Jeff's car was turned sideways. And here is the way it looked from his perspective. This is from Lake Speed's perspective. Not a pretty sight.
Not a pretty sight at all.
That soon into the race. John Kernan is with Hut Strickland.
Hut, a lot of damage to the front end of your car. You guys have pulled it in here into the garage area. Could you see what happened in front of you?
Really couldn't, John. You know, we was on a restart there behind Schrader,
And, you know, I really couldn't see. Somebody must have stopped up ahead of him there. I really couldn't see. It just set off a chain reaction type deal.
Now, you guys got a lot of damage in the front end. As I said, the wheels don't seem to want to turn. Are you going to be able to get it fixed and get back out there?
We're going to work pretty hard on this McDonald's Ford, get it back out there.
Hutch Strickland obviously very, very disappointed. In fact, one of his crew members told me before the race, he said, hey, if we don't finish well today, Junior's going to have us back out here at the racetrack tomorrow to complete 400 laps.
Looks like they got their day planned tomorrow.
Now we see Lake Speed. He's been in the pits trying to repair some of the damage to that Motorcraft Ford.
Motorcraft Ford goes back into the race. Well, we still haven't run a green lap here at North Wilkesboro. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
We welcome you back to North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Tyson Holly Farms 400. Still under caution for this accident here in the early laps. A massive crunch here, a traffic jam, if you will, on the front straightaway involving a number of cars. 7 car involved with the car number 24 involved. Heavy damage on those cars. Jeff Bodine, one of the cars that got it from the front and back. And Jeff has climbed out of the car. And Jeff, luck. None of it. None at all.
Not lately, no. I don't know what happened out there. It was a really slow start. I guess some of the guys in the middle took off before the guys in the front or whatever, and everyone jammed up. It's funny. Todd and I were just talking before the start. I said, make sure you got brakes. And he needed them, but he ran into me, but it wasn't his fault. You know, just a pile-up, kind of like you see in a city streets at rush hour. You know, one guy stops and the rest run into him, but I can't believe it. This is really tough. And, yeah, I came into the garage, got out of the car, came in here, was going to take my stuff off, and I said, hey, that's my car out there. I better go back and check on it. I had to go hook it up so they wouldn't destroy it, but they're working on it back here. Maybe we can get back out and at least ride around for the Family Channel and all the race fans here.
What about next year? Family Channel has been discussed. Sponsors lined up already, or are you still looking?
No, we're still looking. I'm glad you brought that up. No, the Family Channel looks like they're going somewhere else. They're helping us this year, and we appreciate what they're doing. But we're talking a lot of good folks. We have a great team here. You know, this kind of thing can happen to anybody, but why me, right? But, you know, things are going to get better.
Hey, they do have a great team. Paul Andrews and company. They'll definitely be competitive next year. Let's go to John Kernan.
Jerry, Jeff Gordon's crew has got a lot of work to do. It looks like some of the framing's bent. The whole front end is off of the car right now. They pulled up their parts truck. And, Jeff, I tell you what, North Wilkesboro has not been good to you in your rookie season.
No, it sure hadn't. This has probably been the hardest place for us to get around this year. Just having horrible luck here. I mean, I can't believe that this happened on the first lap, you know, and just, I don't know what happened. I was just getting up to speed and they all stopped in front of me.
Now we look at all the work your crew's got to do, but it's important for you to get back out there and complete as many laps as you can.
Well, as many cars that got, you know, a bad end of this deal, we got to try to get out there. We can pick up a lot of positions in something like this by just getting back out there, but I tell you, my car's tore up pretty bad.
Yeah, it looks like they're here for quite some time working on Jeff Gordon's car.
Let's see if we can get a few green laps in here. Here's the green. It's out on lap number 13. Ricky Rudd is the leader of this race, with Irvin running second, then Kyle Petty, Terry Labonte, and Harry Gant.
I guess that's one thing that we ignored, the fact that Ricky Rudd did take the lead on that first lap. Car that's running second, Ernie Irvin car, is exactly the same car he used in Martinsville last week. It worked so well there, they said, why not?
Dr. Jerry Punch is standing by with Morgan Shepherd, another one of those drivers involved in the incident.
Well, at their top 10 finish last week, the car pretty heavily damaged. Morgan, how bad is it?
Well, the car's hurt pretty bad. It went in the inside wall head on, and we'll be lucky if we can even get it out to roll around, because it's tore up on both ends. It was just a chain reaction thing. Something happened up front, and the car stacked up, and I got hit from the rear and knocked me into the inside wall. It's a shame for the Citgo Thunderbird.
Indeed, the Wood brothers working feverishly to get the car fixed, but we're under green here in Wilkesboro.
Well, if Morgan does not return to the action, it'll be only his second DNF for 1993. was unable to finish the Haynes 500 at Martinsville earlier this year. He remains solidly, however, entrenched in 5th position in the point standings. Up front, it is still Rudd, Irvin, and Kyle Petty, and Petty looks like he would like to get around to second.
Yesterday in practice, Bob, Kyle Petty, in my opinion, was the fastest car on the racetrack. It looked like it was really hooked up. He could run right on the bottom of the racetrack. That's what you need to do here at North Wilkesboro. So he's trying.
There is Dale Earnhardt, who's behind Sterling Marlin. There is damage to the front end of that number 3 car, but not damage that is obviously affecting the running of the car at all. Petty looking to the inside as they go down the backstretch, back to 9th and 10th. And here is the pass as Petty moves inside of Irvin and takes 2nd position.
And Earnhardt is trying to take that spot away from Sterling Marlin.
And that is 9th and 10th here as Rusty Wallace is right behind this duo as they battle for position.
Now we can see some of the damage to the front of that Chevrolet Lumina Dale Earnhardt.
As you said, Bob, it doesn't appear as if it will affect the car. Don't know if it affects the air going into the radiator. It gets enough to keep the car cool, but apparently they felt it was okay.
Dale Earnhardt moves to 9th, and Rusty now taking 10th away from Sterling Marlin as Rick Mast in the number 1 is alongside Sterling.
Well, this is almost like Martinsville. You open that barn door, and it looks like all the animals are going to get out.
And the interval from the leader Rudd back to 9th place Earnhardt is only 3.4 seconds. Ricky Rudd remains in the lead as Jimmy Spencer now battles alongside Marlin.
Marlin has to feel like a bowling ball out there. Something. He's getting beat all over the place.
There we saw the 41 car, the Manheim Auto Auction car that's being driven this week by Dick Trickle.
Bill Parsons has been relieved of his duties with that team. Now Petty wants to take the lead from Rudd. By the way, Rudd is leading for the first time since the Michigan event in August, 6 races ago. Petty to the inside in the 1st and 2nd corners. But he cannot take the lead away from Rudd at the moment.
But Rudd has to give him running room down on the inside, and that's where Kyle Petty's car works the best. You can see he gets a little advantage. There he does take the lead.
Kyle Petty goes into the lead as Rudd runs 2nd. Ernie Irvin is 3rd. Labonte is still 4th. And 5th in the spin. That is John Andretti spinning up in the 3rd turn.
And Lake Speed was involved as well. Lake comes on around, but Andretti setting up against the wall.
Andretti was the 2nd slowest qualifier of all. This is how it happened. Made the race during 2nd day qualifying yesterday. Lake Speed moving to the inside of John and some contact.
Yep. And it doesn't take much as you start into the turns here. Just a little bit of a tap on that left rear and it sent him spinning around.
And he got a break. He was slowing, going in the corner. He was on the brake, so therefore he did not go up and smack the wall. Sometimes those cars go up and just flatten the back end, but this time he got a break. Now then, are they going to pit? What do you think?
I don't think so.
What do you think, Ned?
No, they're not going to pit. Not those up front.
Right again.
Well, all right. Lucky guess. Too early.
Everybody remains on the track. 26 laps out of 400 have been completed.
Some of these guys in the back will probably come in.
Yeah, Dale Jarrett and Rick Wilson both coming in.
A couple of drivers are making pit stops as the track crew goes out to retrieve some debris that is on the racetrack. We'll take another break and be right back. Laps completed in the Tyson Holly Farms 400. The top 10, Kyle Petty, Ricky Rudd, Ernie Irvin, Terry Labonte, and Harry Gant. Mark Martin, Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, Bill Elliott, and Rusty Wallace.
There's some beautiful shots. And there we see the Kodak pit box alongside the Jeff Gordon pit box. You know, North Wilkesboro only has 33 pits. And we 4 cars, so the 4 car of Jeff Purvis and Rick Wilson, the 44 car, were sharing a pit. Now the Jeff Gordon has had trouble. He's in the garage here. They have assigned the 4 car his pit. They had to move all their stuff from up in turn 4 almost all the way down in turn 1. But believe me, they were glad to do it to get a pit of their very own, not have to share one with someone.
Here is once again the incident that has caused the most recent yellow. That is Lake Speed moving inside of John Andretti.
Making contact in the left rear, and and Lake almost spun out in the end.
Yes, he did. The back end got very loose on the Motorcraft Ford, but he holds on.
And here it is from Lake Speed's in-car camera.
Oh, he did spin out in the end.
Well, he got all the way down on the grass there. Yeah.
Dr. Jerry Punch has a comment on John Andretti.
Gentlemen, John Andretti is scheduled to run 5 events here in the remainder of 1993. That is if this car survives today. This car is owned by Billy Hagan, prepared by Tex Powell. They hope to use the same race car at Charlotte, Rockingham, and Phoenix. They told John to be careful and don't crinkle it up much. He did a pretty good job there, I think.
Yeah, he luckily has got a mark on the left side of it there, but he didn't hit anything when he spun, so it did save the car. By the way, there were 5 the drivers who went home: Jimmy Means, Dave Marcus, Rich Bickle, Greg Sachs, and Loy Allen. They didn't make the race. John Andretti, as I said, made the event yesterday with a very, very good second-day qualifying effort. Here's the green flag. We're back to racing. Caught behind John Andretti and losing positions. Now he gets to the outside.
And Mark Martin sure took advantage of that, and here comes Rudd.
Come over that thing and hurry it up.
Great shot. Rudd pursuing Kyle Petty. And here is Dale Jarrett going to the inside of Jeff Curtis and Rick Wilson, who's back in the 44 car, coming along with Wally Balderback.
Now, all 3 of those cars made pit stops, took on fresh tires. Even though we haven't run but about 30 laps, and much of that under the caution, it still is helpful.
And there is Darrell Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt.
Earnhardt going by Waltrip.
He's up to 7th now. Earnhardt up to 7th. Waltrip is 8th. Then comes Rusty in 9th, along with Phil Elliott. There are the top 2, Kyle Petty and Ricky Rudd. Petty has not won a short track race in 93, but is second in the short track points with 4 top 5 finishes, was second here in the spring.
There we see Rusty Wallace has gotten by Phil Elliott now. Rick Mass trying to get alongside, and there's Jimmy Spencer, the Meineke car, waiting and lurking there. Just as soon as Mass gets by, he wants to go along with him.
Once you get somebody on that outside, if you get a spot you can stick your nose up in there, they'll do it every time. Ooh, Spencer got a little bit loose coming off the turn. Didn't get up there as close as he meant to going into the turn. Leans a little bit on Bill Elliott.
Looks like these guys were getting a pretty good grip. Down in 1 and 2, but not nearly as good up in 3 and 4.
Spencer taking that position from Bill Elliott.
And as we watch this, I will tell you that Dale Earnhardt has passed Harry Gant. Ever see Gant? And Darrell Walter trying to get by him. Earnhardt has went by, and here comes Rusty trying to look on the outside of Darrell Walter.
That's 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th there. Earnhardt has moved to 6th. Rusty Wallace looking inside of Darrell Waltrip as the Hut Strickland car has rejoined the race.
And that's the point that John Kernan made earlier, that they go in and make repairs if they possibly can and try to run as many laps.
Although he is 34 laps down, Strickland is back in the race, and there's a 3.1-second interval between 1st and 9th.
Rusty trying, but Darrell's getting a good grip off that corner. He's going a longer distance, so it's taking him longer to get through the corner, but he's getting a very good grip, but I don't think he's going to get good enough this time yet.
I got a little loose there coming out of the corner, and it allowed Rusty to pass, and now Mast pulls alongside of Waltrip.
Darrell finally gets back down to the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see if he can stay there.
Don't look like the car will stay there, did he? Just sliding up a little bit in the turn, pushing up.
Wallace Wallace comes up now on the back bumper of the Harry Gant car, and Rusty looks like he's going to pass him easily. Yes, he does, coming out of the fourth corner. Well, for you baseball fans, this is a big day. Who's going to win the Western Division? You can see the Giants and the Dodgers this afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern time here on ESPN, right after our coverage of this event.
Well, I just wish I could get out of this crowd in a hurry and get home so I can see.
You better just stay here.
Maybe so. That might be the deal.
Man, that may get too much sleep here trying to check out on these San Francisco Giants and the Braves.
I know. So. Yeah. Well, that's been a great series.
It has. And of course, if there has to be a playoff game, that too will be here on ESPN tomorrow night. This is a good battle here between Harry Gant and Darrell Waltrip.
Harry Gant's taking Darrell Waltrip's line away from him, hasn't he?
He's trying to.
They're running on the bottom up in 3 and 4 and a little bit higher down in 1 and 2.
Kyle Petty continues to lead. There he is. He's lengthened his advantage over Ricky Rudd. And for Kyle, this is the first time he's led a lap since Bristol 5 races ago. His only win here in '93 was at Pocono. Kyle Petty leads over Ricky Rudd, Ernie Irvan, Terry Labonte, Dale Earnhardt as we've completed 44 laps. There are 6 through 10. At North Wilkesboro, here's the interval leaderboard. Kyle Petty has a 1.43 second advantage on Rudd, 1.65 on Irvin, 2.04 on Terry Labonte, and Dale Earnhardt is 2.86 seconds behind in 5th position. Well, the Family Channel blimp is currently in its 9th month of its 93 Accentuate the Positive Airship Tour, cross-country journey incorporating flybys at major fairs, festivals, and, of course, NASCAR Winston Cup events throughout the country. They provide some great overhead shots, plus they give the crowd something to talk about.
And I tell you what, the battle for second place is heating up. There's our leader, Kyle Petty. And here comes second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all running together. Ernie Irvan, Ricky Rudd, just a couple of laps ago, made some contact going down in turn 1. Rudd did a great job keeping spinning the car right in front of the street. Terry Labonte, the Kellogg score, looking pretty racy. And there's Earnhardt.
Here's Labonte in 4th now, inside of Ernie Irvan as they go into 1. And Earnhardt stays sort of in the middle.
Don't know which one to follow here right now. I think he's got to sort of go with the 14 car of Labonte, though, because he at least has pulled up the side of Irvin.
Yeah, he's going to pass him now.
Yep.
Okay, Labonte is now in 3rd. The battle for 4th between Earnhardt and Irvin.
And Rusty sitting there looking for him a spot to take also.
Remember the top of our show at Martinsville last week, these 3 cars racing. And here we are again in North Wilkesboro a week later, same 3.
Involving the top 2 in NASCAR Winston Cup points right there. Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. The sum between the two is just 85 to 82 points now. As a result of some good finishes in the last 2 races by Wallace and some misfortune by Dale Earnhardt. And the Ernie Irvan car has lost a few positions here in the recent laps. Jerry, what's going on?
Well, the problem not a serious one, Bob, but right now it's creating a little bit of a driving problem for Ernie Irvan. The car is just very loose here at the racetrack. We've had a 150-lap race yesterday. The track is a little bit slick and slippery, and Ernie said the car is a little too loose to drive it hard in the corner. So he backs off a little bit, waits for that first scheduled stop, or a caution flag, caution to come in and make some adjustments.
Looky here, Labonte has caught Rudd, and he's on the inside, has position. This is the battle for second place. Now Labonte in second.
Earnhardt trying to take 3rd from Rudd. Wallace falls in behind Dale.
Rudd's car has sort of gone away, like some others. Once those tires get heated up, that's when it tells how good your chassis really is working.
Now then, Rusty Wallace is closed up right on the back bumper of Earnhardt.
Here's a tight group of cars Now remember, Dick Trickle is in the 41. That's Lake Speed leading this group, along with Sterling Marlin and Kenny Wallace.
That's for about 20th spot. Lake Speed took, I think it's 19th away now. Trickle trying to take 20th away. Kenny Wallace back there. Watch him. Now Trickle has that spot. Here we go.
It's getting tight between Earnhardt and Wallace. Rick Mass just passed the 28 car to pick up another spot. There's Ernie. He continues to fall back. There is Mass, but Urban is the one that is falling back. Now Rusty Wallace looks inside of Dale Earnhardt in the second turn.
Took a look. As we watch this, we need to give a call to Dale Jarrett. Now he is on the move.
He is the fastest car on the track right now. Yes, he was about 25th or something after he made a pit stop. He has moved up to about 13th position now. Just passed Darrell Walton a lap or so ago, and he's gaining on Kyle Petty about a third of a second a lap.
You ever see Earnhardt going by Brett Bodine? That's putting a lap on Brett already, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep, sure is. The leader left him not too long ago. Now Jarrett's coming up on Harry Gant. But those new tires that it came in, Jarrett sort of went backwards right at the first, and I don't know if he had a tire that was going down or what. It was pushing up in the turn. They came in and put 4 tires on it, and it has taken off for it.
Now we see the 55 car minus the hood.
Yeah, he's back in the race, 51 laps down. That's Ted Musgrave. This is the battle for 5th. Mass trying to take it away from Ricky Rudd.
There we see John Andretti. He just left the pits. He was on pit road and has just exited John Andretti. I don't know what he did or what the problem is, but now here comes Mass on the inside.
They have position on Rudd.
Boy, Mass had a great run going last week at Martinsville and had a problem with the engine, I believe, in the old Classic Ford.
And John Kernan has a comment on Rick Mast.
Ned, I believe what happened, they broke an axle. They had worked their way all the way up to 4th. Rick Mast and his crew with some great pit work. They finally got back out and didn't lose another lap, so they ran competitively after they got the car fixed. This weekend, they think they may have used up their bad luck that they've been having lately on Friday. After running some warm-up laps, Rick started to crank it up and go at speed. And all of a sudden, the rear end broke, twisted the drive shaft like a pretzel. They spent most of Friday morning repairing the car. They got very few practice laps in and still qualified 13th. So these guys think maybe they used up all that bad luck on Friday, and if any team on pit road needs some good luck and deserve it, it's those guys.
I tell you what, Ned, there might be another car that's threatening Dale Jarrett to be the fastest car on the racetrack, and that is Michael Walker.
Yes, he is. He is running very, very fast. He started far back in this field and has worked his way up to passing the man who started on the outside pole.
28th he started. 28th Michael Walker started, and as you said, just past Rudd, who started on the outside pole. Michael Walker going towards the front. That was for about 9th spot.
Started 28th on lap 15. He was 20th, and look at how quickly he has moved up from that. From lap 15 to 70, he moved from 20th to 6th. And Dale Jarrett is motoring.
Yeah, just moved around Mark Martin there.
Now the championship isn't completely without, out of the grasp of Dale Jarrett. He's got a long uphill battle, but nevertheless third in the points. Jerry Punch.
And Dale gets a lot of support, as you well know, from a lot of fans and his dad, Ned. But the coach, Joe Gibbs, who owns that race car, has had a very busy weekend. He flew all night because yesterday he was out in Palo Alto, California, watching his son, Coy, who plays for Stanford. Stanford Cardinal, played Notre Dame. Didn't do real well against the Fighting Irish, but then Joe Gibbs boarded an airplane, flew all night, got 2.5 hours ago, was able to take a quick shower and shave in the driver's lounge, and made it on the pit road. I said, Coach, hey, that's pretty tough on you. He said, hey, I wouldn't miss this day for anything. We're going to be tough. And I believe he was right.
He is running very well, and so is Rick Mast, as he's now caught up to Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, and Kyle Petty is not that far in front of Terry Labonte now. Labonte has gained on him, so Rick Mast is certainly one of the fastest cars on the track because these guys are gaining on Kyle, and now Rick Mast gaining on them.
And there is the leader, Kyle Petty, and the interval has shrunk between him and second place Terry Labonte as Dale Jarrett continues to move toward the front, now moving alongside Ernie Irvin and passing him at the end of the backstretch. 75 out of 400 laps have been completed. The leader continues to be Kyle Petty. Back at North Wilkesboro, and things have changed since he went away. The leader is now Terry Labonte as he was able to pass Kyle Petty, and Rusty Wallace is moving up.
Rusty Wallace has moved up to the third spot, got by Earnhardt now. Rick Mast also has got by Earnhardt, and this, we can see Terry Labonte, the third race he has led this year, and he's got that Kellogg's car hooked up today.
This is how he passed Kyle Petty for the lead.
Comes off the corner, and just look what a grip he got. Kyle evidently not able to get on the gas full throttle, and Labonte there just flew by.
Just drove right under it. Boy, that was an impressive move off that turn.
And here's how Rusty took over third as he went to the inside of Earnhardt. Look at that puff of smoke.
Yeah, there was a little puff of smoke there, and I don't think that was not tire smoke. I don't know what that came from, but he slips right up beside of Earnhardt. They go into turn 3 side by side, and then he made the pass.
Labonte is a two-time winner here at North Wilkesboro. He won in 1988, the spring race, and in 1987 he won this race. And now look at Michael Waltrip.
On the outside of Earnhardt, trying to take that spot away.
He's doing it the hard way, but what we've mentioned earlier how good Michael Waltrip Pennzoil Pontiac is working, and he moves up on the outside of Earnhardt and takes the position. That's fifth.
Boy, that's a strong move.
And their 44 car is slow. A couple laps he's been going slow. What's his problem, John?
Well, Benny, Rick Wilson, in his first race back after injuring some ribs up at Dover, has run out of brakes. So he's just out there trying to coast around this racetrack. Once again, Rick Wilson out of brakes. Let's go down pit road to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, John. No surprise at all that Terry Labonte is running as well as he is here. Remember last year they had an Oldsmobile, and he led a number of laps here in the Tyson 400. Now, Pete Wright, the crew chief, told me they came up here with 3 different race cars back in the spring, including the old car from a year ago with new sheet metal, a Chevrolet Lumina on it. Now, the old car was still the best. That's the one they brought back here today, and it's performing just like it did a year ago.
Yes, indeed. Terry Labonte at the front of the field right now, and you saw there a few minutes ago the number 7 car of Jeff Bodine involved in the incident just past the starting line. He is back on the racetrack. 17 cars are currently on the lead lap, and they are being led by Terry Labonte.
Here's the second place car, Kyle Petty.
And then we saw Bill Elliott get in lap just a moment ago in the Budweiser Ford, one of those guys that we talked about that needed a good run, and it doesn't look like today is going to be that day.
No, the Budweiser car just not handling the way it needs for it to, and handling is such a critical point here on this racetrack. Dale Jarrett just went around Ricky Rudd, took over the 7th position.
In fact, there are some drivers that will tell you that this racetrack is just about as demanding on a driver as any racetrack that they run. It's definitely a driver's racetrack.
This is very much a driver's racetrack. Being able to use that throttle to its maximum and not spin the rear tires, it's almost like running a dirt track. We saw some smoke as Earnhardt went by turn 4. That was trying to get some brakes on the 44, the STP Pontiac and Ray Wilson. There's some smoke.
Like the brake calipers might be on fire. There's a lot of smoke right side of that STP Pontiac.
So I said they were trying to get brakes on it. What they actually were trying to do was put the fire out.
Then go to work on the brakes.
Yeah.
Terry Labonte, the Kellogg Chevrolet, continues to lead.
And he continues to pull away, too, from Kyle Petty, because Kyle Petty has Rusty Wallace right on his bumper now.
Yeah, Kyle Petty's got bigger problems than trying to get. You ever see the 1 car of Rick Mast? There goes Rusty on the inside of Kyle Petty. This is for 2nd spot.
Looks like Rusty's going to be able to pass Kyle going down the backstretch. Yep, Rusty goes to 2nd.
Battle of the Pontiacs.
Now here's Mast to 3rd. He gets 3rd. Kyle's back to 4th.
Just in a lap.
And John Kernan has a report.
Bobby, you all were talking about the smoke out of Rusty's car. They're not worried about it here in the pits. In fact, they're not worried at all. While we've seen some of the other teams complain about being loose, Rusty's been just a little bit tight. They're playing around lap 150 to pit and to loosen the car up just a little bit. One remark about the car. Remember all those short track races Rusty won at the beginning of the year, including right here at North Wilkesboro? This is the very same car, so they feel very confident about their chances today.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and if you win with it, bring it back.
Absolutely. As long as they don't look forward, they won't be in too bad a shape, because if they look forward and can't see the leader, they might get a little bit angry.
Here's Labonte now lapping Darrell.
Another guy, Ned, that we said needed to run good, and we thought he would run very well here. Darrell Waltrip.
Was that 17th position that he just went lapped the 17th place car, so now only 16 on the lead lap.
Watch Terry Labonte driving away from the competition.
About to put a lap on Jimmy Spencer in the Meineke muffler car, and Ken Schrader is right in front of him.
Back to second and third now. Here comes Rusty and Rick.
Ringman took a look inside Rusty Wallace down the back straightaway. Couldn't make it the fast. There's Dale Earnhardt and Jerry Punch has a report on that machine.
Benny, just spoke with Richard Childers, who tells me that Earnhardt has a severe push in the car number 3, the Childers Racing Chevrolet. Apparently cannot get the car to turn in the corners. It's the same car they had at Martinsville last weekend, which they're not going to give up on. It's a brand new race car, but right now it needs a little handling adjustment here at Wilkesboro.
Here's a Graham Field summary for you, showing where your favorite driver was just last lap around.
Bill Elliott comes into the pits while we watch Earnhardt go around, so he's the first of the supposed to make a green flag pit stop.
Brett Bodine stopped just a moment ago because I saw him go by the 14 car, and now we're going to change 2 tires to 4. It's 4 tires for the Budweiser Ford.
And Sterling Marlin is also in.
Looks like a 4-tire stop for them. Yep, it is.
Some trouble there on the right rear, it looks like. Very slow. Now they're
making a chassis adjustment on the right rear. Tightening the car up just a little bit.
Bill Elliott is rolling away. And here comes Rick Mast passing Rusty Wallace. And that is for second spot.
Rick Mast having a great run here as Kenny Wallace comes into the pits in the Dirt Devil car.
And Dale Jarrett just passed Kyle Petty. And for fifth. We are 1/4 of the way through this race already. 100 laps have been completed, and Terry Labonte is involved now in some heavy traffic. Puts a lap on Todd Bodine in the 75 car, and next to be lapped is Ken Schrader. We're live at North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina for the Tyson Holly Farms 400. ESPN Speed World at North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina. And right after our coverage of this event, the game of the day, one of the 2 games of the day, the Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers. That comes up at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, or right after our coverage of this event. Now in the 3rd inning, the other big game of the day, it's scoreless in Atlanta.
And here comes Labonte to put a lap on our pole sitter, Ernie Irvin. And I tell you what, Ernie Irvin will be in the pits the next lap, because that car is gone away.
Yeah, it's not handling well at all.
Now we see Jeff Purvis. He's been in the pits in the Kodak Film Chevrolet. That's why he's able to come up and threaten to pass Terry Labonte.
Then the lap times have slowed down to over 21 seconds as we see Dick Trickle coming in the Manheim Auto
what did I say?
Yep, you're right. Next lap, and here he comes. Bill Elliott was in. There you see him in the Budweiser Ford, making some good laps on the racetrack now.
Mark Martin about to be lapped. Here is Irvin rolling down pit road, keeping it under the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. The Texaco Haviland Ford reaches to a halt, and the crew goes to work on the right side.
And of course, they'll change all 4 tires. I'm starting to say that the lap times have slowed down to over 21 seconds. That's good pit stop. 18 and 4/10 seconds. Wow. Very good pit stop. Boy, that'll get you some positions when you make that kind of stop under green. But they qualified, Bob, at 19.26 was the pole speed, so they're running 2 seconds a lap slower than they qualified. Mark Martin coming in now in the Valvoline Ford.
He got lapped the last lap. Here he is in the pits. And Jerry Punch is there with the crew.
Benny, the speed limit is 35 miles an hour as they go down pit road. They likewise will change all 4 tires, and they will make a chassis adjustment. The car very loose. Some of the drivers complaining they had a push. Bill Elliott pitted early because he had a push. Remember, Dale Earnhardt complained of a push. Steve Mill now jacking some wedge to the right side of the car, making an adjustment there. He put left side tires on. He has some sheet metal damage on the left inside. 20.1 seconds. He is down and away. Remember that into in the early lap pickup bump. Has a bent finger on the left rear.
And Timmy Spencer is in. They're working on the right side of that now, swinging around to the left side of the winding Muffler Ford.
I asked Bobby Allison down there this morning if they had their sponsorship locked up for next year. He said, not yet. Said, we're awfully close, but we haven't signed it yet. Let's hope to get it signed soon as Spencer goes back out into the action.
Is that for the Meineke people? Is that who he was talking about?
Yeah, he didn't say that specifically, but he indicated that was the case, yes.
There is Labonte, who has not yet made a pit stop. He's only just a few car lengths ahead of second place Rick Mast. Wallace is third. Fourth is Michael Waltrip, and fifth is Dale Jarrett. Here's Labonte moving in on Lake Speed to put him another lap down. And Ken Schrader is coming down pit road. The Kodiak Chevrolet called. There's considerable damage. Well, not considerable. A little bit of damage there in the front end due to the first lap exit. John Kernan.
Well, Bob, as we've seen so far, 4 tire stops. The right side work already done. They'll make a chassis adjustment on that left rear trying to tighten the car up a little bit. Now they're having problems getting that right rear tire off. Now it finally goes on. Right front's on. They're waiting. Schrader is down and away 22.3 seconds. A little bit slower than what we've seen a lot of these teams turn this year.
And we've seen pit stops now between 18.4 or so and 22.4 in the number that we've seen so far, but Labonte has not yet pitted, but should be coming in.
He's staying out here, Bob, but look who's gaining on him. Rick Mast is just gradually moving up on him. There he is, coming up on the outside. Well, he went high there because Bobby Hillin had been into the past underneath him, and so Mast let him go, but he has been steadily catching up to Terry Labonte, as Labonte now about puts a lap on the outside pole center of Ricky Rudd.
And here is Lake Speed in the Motorcraft Ford getting service on the right side. All of this under green, of course.
And Earnhardt's coming down the pit road. Slowly coming down pit road, that 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. And he stops in his pit. John Kernan is there.
Richard Childress will make the chassis adjustment on the left rear as the GM Goodrich Flying Aces go to work. Right side tires going on. Albert, the jack is down. They'll swing around. David Smith puts it under the left side. 1, 2 pumps, 3 pumps. The car's up in the air. Chocolate Myers with another can of gasoline. The tires are completed. Earnhardt is down and away 19.1 seconds.
Earnhardt rolling back out onto the racetrack, and by the way, last week Chocolate Myers suffering some burns on his face, but he is okay. And Ricky Rudd comes into the Tide Chevrolet. Jerry, can you see him?
Absolutely, Bob. The outside front row starter, Ricky Rudd in the Tide Chevrolet. Jerry Behart and the Hendrick crew will change all 4 tires. They fill it up, clean the windshield. He's sitting almost all the way down into turn 1 as the field rumbles by about 25 feet away. Left side tire zone. He is down in 20.1 seconds.
Michael Waltrip comes in. He gives up his top 5 position to make the first scheduled pit stop of the day.
And the leader, and Rusty Wallace coming in as well.
As we watch Rusty Wallace come to stop, Terry Labonte also stopping in the Kellogg's car. Jerry Potts is down there.
And Terry Labonte, our lead car, the Kellogg Chevrolet crew, now going to work. Very important to get a very good pit stop out of this crew and have Terry be able to get back and not lose any more valuable time. Let's check into the 2 pit with John Kernan.
Jerry, in the blink of an eye, 4 tire change. Rusty Wallace, they will tighten the car up just a little bit. The car gotten a little bit loose. Rusty's away.
And Kyle Petty also sits on.
And Rick Masta taking over the lead, and now he comes into the pits.
They just can't afford to stay out there with those worn tires when the competition has those new tires. They give up, 2 seconds a lap. John Kernan called his pit stop for him.
If a car was ever running perfectly on used tires, it'd have to be this #1 Skoll Classic Ford of Rick Mast. The crew swinging into action. They've really been working on their pit stops back in the shop. They've been getting them down into the 19-second range. We'll see what they can do here. Left side going on. Here is Word Mast. Oh, down and away. 19.6 seconds. A good stop.
Very good stop for Rick Mast.
Dale Jarrett has now taken over the lead.
He's off sequence, though, because he stopped during that yellow flag, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He could go, but I think he's going to come into the pits now that he's led a lap. He don't want those guys out there on new tires and picking up a second a lap. In fact, he is coming in right now.
Absolutely right. Good call. Here comes Dale down pit road. Doesn't have far to go. He's pitted just off corner number 4. The Interstate Batteries crew moving to the right side. John Kernan is there.
The Jackman fell down. John?
Well, that's right, man. That had to cost him at least a second right there. Left side tires going on right now as Dale Jarrett sits patiently in the car. Now they'll push him away 21.9 seconds.
Even with the stumble, not a bad pit stop, 21.9.
Now, Bobby Labonte had taken over the lead in the Maxwell House Ford. He now is in the pits, and I think Wally Dallenbach will be the leader because he was one of those that pitted on that other caution.
As they work on Bobby Labonte's Maxwell House Ford, indeed, Wally Dallenbach Jr. is leading a lap.
But he just came into the pits.
Yeah. Crew finished. Bobby rolls away. Here's Wally.
And it's probably, if they make their pit stop, it's probably going to put Derek Cope into the lead. He, too, was one of those that made early pit stops.
And when Cope comes in, it'll go back to Terry Labonte. Keystone Beer Planters Peanuts Ford with service completed. He's moving. And this is what slowed down the crew just a little bit. Tripped over. I don't know what he tripped over.
The tire laying there. Yeah. The tire laying on pit road where the right front tire changer had changed. Let's see. Let's back up. See that tire there? He just catches that tire with his right foot, and then now he does a header, and oh, my arm. But I tell you what, these guys are tough. See him?
Yeah, they are. Let's don't do that no more. That hurts every time he does it.
That elbow hurts every time.
Yeah, it sure does.
All right, now there is Labonte. The 98 car is the leader. That's Derek Cope. But he needs a pit stop before too long, and you can see he's just ahead of Timmy, who will be the leader. Derek Cope comes in for service. We'll take a break and be back with more from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. The Tyson Holly Farms 400 from North Wilkesboro is 136 laps old, and the leader is Terry Labonte in car number 14. And Ned, the Braves have scored.
All right, that sounds good to me. Of course, we know there are a lot of San Francisco Giants fans listening and watching the race today, and we apologize for being a little partial to those that live back here in the East, but everybody's got to vote for something.
That's right. And we'll have
the score 1-0?
Yeah, 1-0 in the third. Giants and the Dodgers at 4 Eastern on ESPN.
And we see Terry Labonte, the Kellogg's Corn Flakes Chevrolet, trying to lap. Whoa! Was it contact or what?
Yes, there was.
Jimmy Spencer, the minded him up the car, and there we see Bobby Labonte, his younger brother, trying to get a lap back from Terry.
And he just came out of the pits.
Look at this. Before the pit stop, 105 miles an hour. After the pit stop, 110.
And there's the second place car, Rick Mast, that won Skoll Classic car. He closed up right on the back bumper. This traffic has really got Labonte in trouble.
He's going to... Well, I thought he was going to pass Labonte, but nope. Terry is trying to lap the, let's see.
Well, the 12 car, the 22 car of Bobby Labonte just went around his brother Terry, got back in the lead lap.
Rick Mast is taking the lead. He led that lap, Dan.
Yes, how about that?
He is having an impressive run here today. And no one deserves it more than Rick Mast. I'll tell you, he and Richard Jackson joined that team. They worked awfully hard. But here comes Labonte back up on the outside. As Mast has gotten caught in behind Jimmy Spencer. Now he's going to try him on the inside.
And here's Darrell Waltrip, who just made a pit stop a couple of laps ago. And now Mast is on the inside of Spencer. This is close.
Trying to lap the 14th place car of Jimmy Spencer. Mast in turn 3. He
gets it done.
Yep. The last race he led was at Bristol, the Bud 500. Rick Mast is in the lead. By the way, Darrell Waltrip there, number 17, is 3 laps down. The Braves have scored again, 2-0.
All right, keep going there, guys.
We'll keep you informed of that game, and then, of course, stay with us right after our telecast for live coverage of the Giants and the Dodgers.
See that damage to the 7 car of Jeff Bodine. In case you just joined us, there was a crash on taking the green flag on the front straightaway that heavily damaged 4 cars. The 7 car of Bodine, the 21 car of Morgan Shepherd, the 15 car of Lake Speed, also the 24 Jeff Gordon was damaged severely, and also the 27 car of Hutch Strickland and McDonald's Ford.
And there were some others that kept running that had damage as well, but all of those had to make extensive repairs.
Now we have a battle shaping up here for second position as Rusty is closed in on Kerry Labonte.
Looks like whatever the Miller Genuine Draft crew did on that pit stop, it was the right thing because his car is faster than it was before the pit stop versus the competition.
From the Family Channel blimp, a shot overhead as Wallace dogs Labonte for second position as Rick Mast has taken the lead. Now Rusty has position on Terry and takes second place.
That set of tires that Labonte has on not working as well as the set he had before. Whether there's a little bit of difference in the air pressure or what the situation is, but that car is not dominant like it was before.
Had a little bit of mix-up coming off the corner there. Some cars made some contact right in front of the leader. Brett Bodine, the Quaker State Ford, just made a pit stop. He's going back all the... Here's what I was talking about is Rick Mast goes up, tries to get under Bobby Labonte. They make some contact. See that smoke?
Got to be careful knocking a fender in against the tire on either car.
98 car is in the pits. He stayed out for quite a while, and he was very slow before he came in, too.
Yeah, his tires had gone away, and here they have a tire loose on pit road as one of the other crew members of Brett Bodine comes over and helps out with that tire.
He made a pit stop on lap 26, Coke did, and now comes in on lap 149. Mast is still in traffic, but he's weaving his way through rather well.
Here's Rusty.
Yeah, Rusty's gaining on Rick Mast now. Barry Campbell just gone a lap down.
And Darrell Waltrip has about 15, 20 laps less on his tires than the other guys, so he ought to blow by. I'm surprised he's not, and maybe he just can't get in position too fast.
I think that's the situation. He just can't get in that position.
There's Darrell Waltrip listed in 26th position, 3 laps down. And the rest of the field, Jeff Gordon remains behind the wall, as does Morgan Shepherd, both involved in that early race incident.
One of our spotters said that there was a puff of smoke that time out of the 2 car. I did not see it.
I saw one down in turn 1 a while ago.
Yeah, I did see that down in turn 1, but we were just talking about a lap or 2 ago. I did not see that.
Looks like Rusty is increasing the interval between himself and Rick Mast. Let's see if we can see that puff of smoke. Ooh,
whoa,
that's brakes. Yeah, that's what it is. Brake from the left front wheel.
That's brakes, and I tell you what, that is pretty doggone severe.
Could become a problem.
It really could become a problem. Huh.
He closes up on Mast, though. Rick trying to work off the corner below Kenny Wallace, the Dirt Devil. But Rick Mast remains in the lead, and so we will take another break here. We're at North Wilkesboro Speedway, North Carolina, for the 26th race of the 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup season, the Tyson Holly Farms 400. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Budweiser, fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. And by Minin Speed Stick Deodorant and Speed Stick Antiperspirant, the #1 for movers and shakers.
That must be your brand, Bob.
I was going to say, you must use that, Benny.
Mover and shaker. New leader, guys.
Yep, Rusty Wallace has passed Rick Mast, and Rusty is in the lead. Here's how it happened.
The let's see. This is going in turn 3, and we see Darrell Waltrip in the Western Auto Chevrolet getting a lap back, and Rusty just follows him through.
And Rick Mass got caught up there behind the 78 car of Jay Hitchcock.
Yep.
And Rusty just made the pass easy.
So Darrell now is 2 laps behind. However, Rusty is right there to put him in 3 laps again. And here's a battle for position. Michael Waltrip, not anymore. There goes Dale Jarrett into 6th.
Both of these cars having a very, very good run today. Qualified back in the 20s, but are running very well.
Here are where the top 5 in points are running. Earnhardt is 5th, Wallace is the leader, Jarrett is 6th, Martin 11th, and Shepard is 33rd. Now, just to give you an idea of where we are now in terms of points, if they were awarded now, the difference would be 62. Rusty behind Earnhardt by 62, Jarrett would be 3rd, and Martin and Shepard remain 4th and 5th.
See our leaders, Rusty Wallace, put a few car lengths on Rick Mast. But meanwhile, right behind these guys is Martin Martin in the Valvoline Ford. And this car is been slowing on the racetrack. There he is.
Just ahead of
and you can see how he comes off on the inside of the racetrack. He doesn't have a very offensive position at all, does he, Jerry Punch?
No, he doesn't, Benny. That first lap traffic jam, he got the rear deck of the car knocked down. If you look at the rear of that Valvoline Ford, you see how it's buckled down? Well, Steve Mills told me it's buckled so much, the rear spoiler is absolutely useless. It's catching it all, and the car is so slick or so loose in the corner, they can't drive it. The car turns the back off and just try to ride for a while.
You see, that's exactly what all the guys are talking about. The new rule change that goes into effect at Charlotte and Atlanta. Only those 2 races. But NASCAR trying to slow the cars down. They have decreased the rear spoiler by 1.5 inches.
Harry Gann almost hit the wall half a lap ago. Looks to be okay now.
Yeah, but his car is not handling too well. We'll take a look at it again. Here's Jeff Bodine coming up under him in his car, and there Gann loose coming off the turn. Gets out awfully close. The back end got loose, but he got her gathered back in there, I guess, and continued on.
Harry Gann in 15th position. And there is 1 and 2 again. Actually, their numbers are reversed as far as their standing are concerned. The number 2 car is first, and the 1 car is second.
Harry Gann must have got their change out again. He said, hey, my number is supposed to be third. The numerical order is 1-2, not 2-1. But Rusty will have something to say about that, I guess.
Well, Rusty would say number 2 on my car, but number 1 in your heart.
Okay.
And Rusty gets bottled up behind slower traffic once again as Mass passes Jay Hedgecock and puts a lap on him.
And Jeff Purvis, car number 4 there, going another lap down.
Here is Kyle Petty and Ricky Rudd as they are battling for 8th spot. At one time, these 2 were 1st and 2nd, but now they're back in 8th and 9th.
And they qualified, Ricky Rudd was on the outside pole, Kyle Petty qualified 3rd, and it looked like they was going to run away with it, but now they're back. Somebody else looks like they're going to run away with it. And let's see, someone was black flagged. I guess that was a 7 car.
Yeah, I think it was. Overhead shot from the Family Channel blimp.
Now these guys are about 2/3 of a lap behind the leader. They're only a straightaway in front of Rusty Wallace. This is the cars of Kyle Petty, number 42, Mellow Yellow Pontiac, and the Tide Chevrolet of Ricky Rudd.
And we see Rudd closes up. But these cars look to be evenly matched at this point of the race. Ed was talking about a straightaway. If we go back and find the leader, Rusty Wallace, there he just went by us on the front straightaway. There's a 3rd place car. And it looks like Earnhardt has gained on Ernie Irvin and the 14 car.
Yeah, I think, in fact, he's not far behind Ernie Irvin right now, and Ernie Irvin is not far behind Terry Labonte, who is running 3rd.
The The 3 car has one of the fastest cars on the track. He timed laps 165 through 169. And the interval between Wallace and Earnhardt decreased from 5.1 seconds to 4.3. And it was basically Earnhardt. It wasn't Wallace slowing down. It was...
Oh, and a spin up in turn 3, exactly the way he did it before. John Andretti, the caution flag is out. Now, this is not a replay, folks. This actually happened just now.
It's the second time that John has spun, and both times he's avoided hitting the wall, so he does have that much going for him.
And there's some drivers that are happy to see this caution. And a couple of those will be the 42 car of Kyle Petty and Ricky Rudd in the car number 5, because as we said, they were only a straightaway away from being lapped. And so they want to get some new tires on those cars and make some adjustments so they can get right back in the thick of this thing.
From Mark Martin's roof cam, we watch him slow down and bunch up behind the pace car.
Isn't it strange that all 3 of our in-car cameras was involved in what same wreck?
Yeah, it was.
And put 2 of them out and damaged the other one.
Yep.
9 cars in the lead lap, and all 9 of those will be coming in once they come around off the turn 4.
Here they come. Wallace, Mast, Labonte, Irvin, Earnhardt, all coming in. And Jerry Punch is here.
And we would expect to see everyone change all 4 tires. We're waiting down here for Terry Labonte, who's heading all the way down to far into pit road toward turn 1. As Labonte comes in, we'll go back upstairs. Let you watch them all.
Here's our triple split. Wallace on top, Mast in the middle, and Labonte on the bottom. Now remember, Terry is pitted down toward turn 1, so the clock on him. 17.5. Jerry.
And we'll see if pit location makes a difference. Terry Labonte's crew already putting right side tires on, now putting left on. As Rusty Wallace has already gone out, Rick Bass going out, Dale Earnhardt's out, and now Terry Labonte will follow him back to turn 1.
And Mast and Labonte with just about identical pit stops of 22.3 and 22.4, but look at that performance by the Miller Genuine Draft Team. 17.5 second pit stop.
Man, oh man. Golly. That is unbelievable. 17.5 seconds.
Well, here's why we were under caution. There's John Andretti sliding through turn 3 again.
And Ted Musgrave just got by on the outside, and fortunately Andretti was able to keep the car up there and not roll back.
And now the cars that are not on the lead lap are coming in for service.
Which there are more of them than there are of those on the lead lap.
And there is, that number looks very familiar, Benny. Number 72. Remember that?
I think Texpal stole some of my numbers back then, because it looks like it's the same numbers that I used back in from 1970 through 78.
Yep.
With the LG DeWitt Racing Team.
Mark Martin pulls out. So does Darrell Walter, Purvis, Speed. Andretti is rolling down pit lane. And here's a pit summary. Wallace in first, out first. Mast second to fourth. Labonte third to fifth. Irvin from 4th to 2nd, and Earnhardt 5th to 3rd. So Ernie and Earnhardt were the 2 that gained on that series of pit stops. We'll take a break under caution here at North Wilkesboro and be right back with more live action. Thank you very much, Gary. Thanks for keeping us updated on that Braves game. And don't forget at 4 o'clock, as Gary said, the Braves and the Dodgers. We are back under green here at North Wilkesboro. Rusty Wallace leads the Tyson Holly Farms 400, nearing the halfway point. We are in lap 184.
And, of course, Ernie Irvin running in second place. And I'm sure there are a lot of fans that are wondering how Ernie, we saw him get lapped on the racetrack earlier, wonder how he's back in the lead lap. Folks, he made an earlier pit stop under green that did the other. He came out and was running a 6.5 or so laps faster, pitted about 10 laps before they did. That picked you up about 15 seconds. So when the others pitted, then he was back on the lead lap. And when this caution came out, got him right back up there and made a great pit stop and got him up to second place.
Yeah, he's knocking on Rusty's door there on the back.
Getting pretty racy. He was our pole sitter, was that 28 car of Ernie Irvin. Oh, we got a crash.
2 cars involved. Morgan Shepherd, Jeff Purvis. Shepherd drives away. Purvis is stopped between turns 3 and 4. Before you correct me, Benny, the Dodgers and the Giants play this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Who'd you say?
I don't know.
Anyway. Ooh, look at these guys go. still going to have a wreck. Be careful up there.
Jeff Purvis in the Kodak Film Chevrolet is stopped in the middle of the racetrack.
It looks like there's some damage right to that left rear. It might have had the tire hit. If he did, that could have been the housing.
So another caution comes out, our fourth of the day, coming up on lap 188.
Doesn't look like Purvis can get his car started.
Doesn't look like it.
Meanwhile, there's Morgan Shepherd, the Citgo Ford. He was one of the cars involved in that very first lap crash.
And by the way, Jeff Gordon, who was also involved in the incident, is back out on the racetrack, running a modified type-looking race car. And Purvis comes in.
But so does Ricky Rudd.
And Michael Waltrip and Brett Book and Derry Cope and Mark Martin.
Something's wrong with Michael Waltrip's car. They're under the car adjusting on it. I'm not sure what as we watch Rudd's crew go to work. Looks like they're going to change 4 tires.
Might have been putting a spring on there because that's a rubber in the right front coil on Michael Waltrip's car. I don't know. That's just speculation. And as they work on Rudd's car.
Well, let's see. We're still working on the car.
Yeah, they're not putting a spring in that. They're working like more on the toe in or something like that. They just think they have it jacked up.
There's the shot from the blimp. You can see both Mark Martin and now Ricky Rudd as he begins to move away. Mark Martin is also rolling. So is Waltrip, Cope, Brett Bodine. Well, we have seen some great pit stops here this afternoon by the Miller Genuine Draft crew and others. Pit stops becoming very important. Indeed, crew chiefs can win races. Trackbacks brought to you by new advanced high-tech formula Quaker State Motor Oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines.
Pit stops have evolved quite a bit from maybe say 5 or 10 years ago, and they're almost choreographed better than a ballet would be. The rules allow only 7 men over the wall to work on the car at any one time, so they've been getting pretty crafty with that and changing places to pick up a little time, and it's worked pretty well for them.
You know, everybody's really analyzing the pit stops closely, watching every move of every person. They're working together and being together for a time makes it better for the pit crew.
The big thing is we got more men in motion and we practice a little bit more, and there's more emphasis going on pit stops because the cars are so much more equal. We used to not really think that much about it when we had, say for instance, Cale and Waddell and everything. We'd just go out there and dominate.
But in 1993, the Penske team has set the standard, and fitness is the key. They realize it's not size and strength, but speed and agility that pays dividends on Sunday afternoon.
You don't get tired, you know. You can come in after a pit stop after changing 4 tires. I remember a couple years ago, I used to come around the car, and I mean, I like want to pass out. Now it's just like, I wish you'd come on down pit road again so we could change 4 more tires. And all the guys are that way.
The quarterback's the driver. You know, if the driver stops where we need him to stop, when I run around the back of the car, I know where to land. Rusty comes in, he comes in slow and easy. He stops where we need him to stop on the pit board.
If I come in one time, or if I come in too hot, slide and frustrate them, that can mess the thing up. So I got to come in smooth. I got to come in fast, but they got to know that I'm going to stop at the same point every time.
Technology has contributed with lighter tires and smaller, faster jacks, but there's still the human element that's the heart and soul of a pit stop.
We still have the competitive fire. We want to beat the other guys out of those pits as bad as they want to beat, you know, the drivers on the track.
Well, again, the pit crews have done a great job here this afternoon, and Rusty Wallace is at the front of the field as the pace car dives off the racetrack, and we go back to green on lap 193. We're 7 laps from the halfway point. Wallace is the leader, followed by Irvin, Earnhardt, Mast, and Kyle Petty.
John Kernan, what did they do to the 30 car?
Well, Vinny, apparently Michael made some contact sometime during the race and has knocked the toe out. They did not get it adjusted back to where it needs to be. They needed at least one more lap under caution. So we'll have to watch Michael. That car won't handle quite the way they would like it to.
He has fallen back to 9th position and is the last car on the lead lap, Michael Walter. We once again watch from the roof cam on Lake's Speed's car. He's got some heavy traffic around him. There goes Harry Gann on the right.
The telemetry in Lake Speed's car. 112 miles an hour down to 75 miles an hour for low speed. Now he accelerates up to 115.
Yep. 75 to 115.
We can see just how fast it gets up the RPM.
Ooh, 120 on that lap. And that was down the backstretch where it's uphill.
Yeah, he got up to 8,600 RPM on the front stretch.
Rudd ahead, racing with Michael Waltrip. And Darrell Waltrip is just to the left of Lake.
And Michael takes that spot away, and here comes Darrell running. So it looks like Rudd's car not handling quite right now.
So Rudd is back to 9th.
Yeah, he is running also running the outside through, but boy, he came close to that wall that time.
Yeah, it looks like Rudd's car is not working as well as it was.
And the 98 car, Jerry Cope and Bojangles' car was black flag. He came in for a stop and go. Evidently, he did something wrong on the restart. That's just speculation on my part.
There are the top 5 as they run. No, they don't. Top 4. Bill Elliott between 3rd and 4th. Wallace leads Irvin off the corner. Then Earnhardt. Then the lap car of Bill Elliott, Rick Mast, Kyle Petty. And we are at the halfway point. Cross flags being shown by Doyle Ford. 200 of the 400 laps are completed here at North Wilkesboro. Rusty Wallace is your leader. We'll be right back. All right, Gary, we are 208 laps into the race, and it is NASCAR Winston Cup racing at its best here at North Wilkesboro. And the top 10, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan, Dale Earnhardt, Rick Mast, Kyle Petty, with 208 of the 400 laps completed. And here is a battle for second position as Earnhardt goes inside of Ernie Irvan and takes away second spot.
See, Earnhardt hasn't led yet today. He picked up 5 bonus points, has he? So
no, he hasn't.
He wants to zero in on Rusty Wallace. That's the next one he has to pass, and the only one he has to pass to get the lead.
Because if he keeps going the way it is, if Rusty Wallace was to win the race and lead the most laps and Earnhardt not lead a lap, he would gain 15 points on it.
John Kernan, in his opening remarks, indicated how important it is to stay out there because attrition has been very low in the recent races. Even though we had that massive pileup here on the straightaway just after the green flag dropped, only one car is officially out of the race. That would be the number 44 car of Rick Wilson. Everybody else is still out there completing laps.
They might look like modifieds, but they're out there.
That's right.
Now Rusty can look in the rearview mirror and see. He knows who that black 3 is. He knows who that car behind him is.
Oh, yeah.
And in case he doesn't know, the crew has told him 10 times already.
So it has come down, at least here at the halfway point, of the 2 drivers that are first and second in points, running first and second in the race. There is Kyle Petty, who is 4th. And Rick Mast has fallen back to 5th position. John, what's going on with that car?
Well, Bob, remember when everyone else slowed down that first long green flag run that we had? Rick Mast kept gaining and picking off spot after spot. They are set up for long green flag runs. In other words, his car is a little bit tight right now, so he's just waiting for the tires to finally wear down to where the chassis will pick it up, and the other cars will start falling off. They have not made any chassis adjustments in their 2 pit stops so far, but we have seen some of the other teams make adjustments, so maybe the other teams corrected their problems, but right now they're just waiting for the right moment for Rick to go.
Well, he's 5th and about a half a straightaway ahead of Terry Labonte, who is 6th, and Dale Jarrett, who is 7th. Rusty Wallace leads the race as we now present our Western Auto race summary. Rusty has led 51 of the first 210 circuits. 9 cars are on the lead lap. We've had 9 different leaders and 11 changes. 4 caution periods totaling 26 laps, and the average speed is a little over 90 miles an hour. Those who have led and picked up the bonus points: Kyle Petty has led, Terry Labonte, Wallace, Rudd, Matt, Pope, Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, and Wally Dallenbach. Nobody is officially out of the race, although the 44 car is behind the wall. And here are the standings in the Western Auto Mechanic of the Year contest. Andy Petrie is on top, followed by Steve Beal, Buddy Parrott, Frank Edwards, and Leonard Wood, 5th in the point standings. Rusty coming up on Bobby Hillen to put him another lap down. Colorado has scored. The Braves now lead 4-1 over the Rockies. Dodgers, Giants, 4 o'clock Eastern, ESPN.
Looks to me like Earnhardt is gaining.
Yeah, he has been. No doubt about it. He has picked up about almost half the distance that Rusty was ahead of him when he made the pass on Ernie Irvin. Kyle Petty now going around Ernie Irvin, taking over the 3rd position. So Ernie's car beginning to go away a little bit again, as we saw it do early in the race. Drops him back to 4th.
Ernie has not had the dominant car here this week that he had last week.
No, he certainly hasn't.
He said last week that that was the most dominant car he has ever had in a race, with the exception maybe of a couple of late model races that he ran out on the West Coast.
Which were probably 30 lappers, maybe.
Right. Here's an Autolite field summary for you, where your favorite driver was a lap ago. There are the 9 cars that are on the lead lap, with Ken Schrader running 10th in the first car, a lap down.
Slips and slides, the farther back he's going to go. Because you heat those tires up, you use them just a little bit. It really affects your speed around the track.
Oh, here comes Earnhardt.
Making a race out of it. On the front straightaway, Brett Bodine is on the low groove, so Dale could not get a good line off the corner. Now we'll see what he can do as go into 3.
I talked to Richard Childers this morning. He said yesterday afternoon they changed 4 springs and both stabilizer bars, the front and the rear. He said that car was junk. They just sat down and said, okay, we'll start over and start from scratch. And it looks like whatever they did got very well for them.
Yep, it's working good now. It was, golly, he got awfully close to Jeff Gordon there. Cost him a little bit of time, too.
Yeah, it did. He lost 3, 4, 5 car lengths.
But early in the race today, Earnhardt was not very good. You know, he was dropping back in a hurry, but now they've made adjustments and got it good. And here is the 8th and 9th place battle. Michael Walton has the 8th place, and Jim Paul Pontiac with Ricky Rudd trying to take it away from him.
Michael passed Rudd just a few laps ago and drove away, but now Rudd is closed back up on the back bumper of the Pinto Pontiac, so evidently Michael's car, that toe-in problem, created an 8 problem for him as he tried to lap Jay Hitchcock.
Now the 12 car of Spencer and the 33 of Terry Gandar, neither one on the lead lap. They are a lap down, but they are in a contest for position.
So they'll be racing each other while these guys race each other for their position.
And to be exact, they are 13th and 14th, Spencer and Gandar.
Passed the 2 car yet. In fact, he's still about 4 car lengths behind him.
We'll show you how far it is back to the leaders from these guys. There we see our leader. It is the Rusty Wallace car, and Earnhardt is second, and here at lunch it's with Richard Childers, the car owner of the Goodrich Chevrolet.
Obviously, the car number 3 is much, much better. RC, you guys have made some adjustments. What have you done with the car to make it so good?
Well, you know, we were too tight to start with. You know, we're still pushing, and we know we'll lose too much track position if we try to fix it. So we've just been trying some other adjustments to try to fix it.
Obviously, he's moving in on Rusty. How are you set for tires? A lot of teams are out of stickers.
We're in pretty good shape, I think. I hadn't talked to the guys, but they said we were this morning.
Richard Childress talking about his Chevrolet. Dale Earnhardt trying to make a move.
Earnhardt closes in once again to less than a car length. Now, we don't want to jinx Dale Earnhardt in any way, but history will reveal
There's
that
the 44 car coming back on the racetrack, so now
nobody,
every car is back on the track. Go ahead.
The points leader coming to North Wilkesboro for this race has not gone on to win the championship in 3 of the last 4 years. Right now, Earnhardt, the points leader, is second, and Rusty Wallace, second in points, is the leader. At the Tyson Holly Farms 400, live from North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina. You're watching from, well, you were from the Family Channel blimp. Now you see that Dale Earnhardt has taken the lead away from Rusty Wallace.
Doing it, has led him a lap.
Yep, got those 5 bonus points.
Now, would you believe these statistics? Chevrolet has not won a short track race this year. Rusty, with 4 wins in 3 seconds in 7 short track races. Earnhardt had not led a lap in the last 3 races, but he now takes the lead. And Bill Elliott, has only led 6 laps this year. John Kernan, the 2-car, has fallen from the lead. What's going on?
Well, Bob, the car has gotten a little bit on the loose side for Rusty. It's a little bit hard for him to drive it right now. We're anticipating pit stops in about another 60 to 70 laps. At that time, they'll put some bite back into the car, trying to tighten it up for that last run toward the checkered flag.
You know, when Dale Earnhardt had such a commanding lead in the point standings, one of the reasons why he was in that position was the fact that he was leading races and collecting the 5 bonus points. But as you saw in the graphic there, not only has he not collected the 5 bonus points, recently he hasn't led a lap, but now he is up front.
And in many of those races, he's leading the most laps and getting another 5 bonus points.
This is inside Lake Speed's car. As we look at the back of Rusty Wallace's car, we'll watch the Ford telemetry once more, and also we'll watch Lake Speed with his foot cam as he accelerates off the corner. He's on the straightaway. See him magic. See how little he's on the gas all the way to the floor. Watch this, folks. This is unbelievable. Watch him play with the throttle, play with the throttle. Now he goes down and off.
It's about 2 seconds that he's fully on the throttle.
So when we talk about chassis, the faster that you can go to the floor and the longer you can keep it there and still get around the corner, you can see why the chassis is so important at these short tracks.
He accelerates from about 92 to 100 and so miles an hour. Watch it, 93 up to 115, and then he brakes.
It's almost like he goes down with the throttle and back up with the throttle. It really is unbelievable how little that you're able to use full throttle. See that?
Yeah.
So that's what everyone tries to do, is to get back on the throttle as hard as you can and drive it off the corner. And the driver, crew, who's able to solve that puzzle the best usually wins the race.
Up front, it is still Earnhardt and Wallace, separated now by about 3-4 car lengths.
Kyle Petty is running third, Bob, and he had been gaining a little bit on Earnhardt and Wallace, but now that Earnhardt has taken the lead, he is not gaining anymore. As a matter of fact, Earnhardt might be pulling away just a little bit on him. I'm going to put my trusty stopwatch here on Kyle, and right now he's 2.7 seconds behind, and he was 2.4 seconds behind.
Michael Waltrip was right up there in the top 5. He has fallen back now to 9th position and just about to be lapped. So it's gone away for Michael Waltrip, but Dale Earnhardt continues to lead here at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. You back to live coverage of the Tyson Holly Farms 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina. The shot from the Family Channel blimp. In addition to playing at events like this all over the country, the Family Channel blimp has played host to unique events such as an onboard wedding over the World Series, a skydiver jump over Richard Petty's last race in November in Atlanta, and has served as scientific support craft for whale studies off the coast of Florida. So we welcome the Family Channel blimp once again to North Wilkesboro.
Does Jacques Cousteau use this blimp?
I think he does for those whale studies, yeah. Well, we have, again, the Giants and the Dodgers game at 4 o'clock Eastern Time at about an hour and 5 minutes from now, or at the conclusion of this event. NFL prime time is at 7, baseball tonight at 8. The Senior PGA Vantage Classic was scheduled to run this afternoon, has been moved to 9 o'clock, so we can bring you live coverage of the Giants and the Dodgers. And then Sports Center with all the wrap-up at 11 o'clock tonight Eastern Time. Well, Sterling Marlin has come in for a pit stop. Jerry Punch reports.
And they have changed right side tires, now changing left side tires. Made a significant chassis adjustment. Kenny Wilson, the team manager on the Raybestos Ford Thunderbird, jacks a little bit of bite in the left rear of the car. Off the jack, he spins it, puts it in gear, and is away. Pretty good pit stop.
The Raybestos Ford moving down pit road, now on to the racetrack, pulling out right beside the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
And he'll pass him in a couple of laps once he gets his speed up with those new tires. Watch him go into that turn, and you'll see the...
Look at that here. Points leaders, Earnhardt and Rusty Walsh running 1-2. Dale Jarrett, who's third's running 7th. Mark Martin back in 16th. And Morgan Shepherd, a bad day for him. He's running 32nd. And watch those fresh tires. Watch those fresh tires.
Now, if points were awarded now, we would be exactly where we were going into this event with an 82-point separation between Earnhardt and Wallace.
And Dale Jarrett is off the pace. Did he get out of shape or something coming off turn 4 or what?
I just saw him, he's slow. No, he's slowed down. There's something wrong with Lee. He might have a flat, or I don't know what the problem is, but he's off the pace now. Staying out there.
He came off turn 4 a moment ago, and I thought he spun out for a second, but now he seems to be up the pace again.
These three cars here are all racing for position. Jarrett Rudd and that's Jeff Purvis. Rudd to the outside now of Jarrett.
He's in 7th position. He might have just about lost it. I don't know. I wasn't really paying that much attention.
Now he's running pretty well on the inside as we watch this. Both Kenny Wallace and Brett Bodine are on pit road making pit stops.
Dale Earnhardt is not too far behind Jarrett and Ricky Rudd.
There is Sterling Marlin. Remember, he was just in and got fresh tires, and he can move right around these guys. John Kernan, you have anything on the 18 car?
Bob, I just talked to Jimmy Maycar, and I think I heard someone up there speculate he might have just about lost it on his own. The car has gotten pretty loose on him, so he has had to take it a little bit easier. So they'll have to tighten that chassis up on the very next pit stop. But it's no big problem. The car just got loose, and Dale almost spun it around.
And we shouldn't be too far from a pit window, should we?
Well, they got to make 2 more pit stops if they stop now. They got to make one now and then another pit stop. So some of them will try to stop. I mean, stretch it and stop one more time, I speculate. But Rudd almost.
Yeah, I think his car is about as loose as Jarrett's is. Maybe that's why it's bad. And they see Dale Earnhardt is coming up right on their back bumper to put a lap on them, because both of them trying desperately to stay out in front of Earnhardt. But he's going to catch him. Earnhardt is running some very good, consistent laps once he got into the lead.
John Kernan, what do you think about the pit stop?
Benny, you said they'd have to have 2 pit stops from here. It's only 400 laps, right? So that leaves 135, 136 laps. They can easily do that, don't you think?
Oh, they can, but the tires will not last that long, I don't think, John.
Well, several guys did stay out that first time up into the 130s and the 134, so there's several guys who aren't capable of doing it.
Jerry Punch, what do you think?
Well, I spoke with Richard Childress a minute ago and asked him what their pit strategy might be, and he said, well, we can go about 130 laps, or whenever the 2-car pits. That's who we're racing right now, not only at Wilkesboro, but for the championship. So if they come in, so will we. If we come in, so will they. If they neither one come in, they'll be both pit about 130 laps from their previous stop, which puts them around lap 300 to 305.
Well, now we're down to just 6 cars on the lead lap, as Earnhardt has put a lap on the 18 car and on Ricky Rudd.
Well, You wonder now if Rudd and Jarrett should maybe come in and do what we saw Ernie Irvin do earlier, come in and take on fresh tires and hope that it goes green then until the others have to stop. That way they can get themselves in, and I think Ricky Rudd's going to do exactly that, and I believe Jarrett might be going to follow him in this time. We'll see as they come off of turn 4. No, right there, stay down on the inside.
Jarrett. Yep. Dale Jarrett comes in. John Kernan is right there.
Bob, it will be a 4-tire change. They now have 131 laps to go to the finish. No problem on tires for them. And they will make a chassis adjustment. They will add some wedge. The right side's going on. They swing around to the left side. Remember, earlier on, they had a good pit stop going until Jackman fell over, and they lost about a second and a half. Left side's going on. There was the chassis adjustment in the right rear as they add wedge. Dale Jarrett is down and away.
Boy, Rick Mass, Paul Garrett was making his pit stop, almost hit the wall up in turn 4. He went very, very high. In fact, he has slowed down now on the racetrack, Rick Mass. Let's go back to the pits. John, did you see that?
No, Dan, I was just talking with the crew, and they say that, you know, they've been having a problem with the car being tight at the beginning of the runs, and the longer they ran, the better it got, so they had made no chassis adjustments. Well, now the car has gotten just extremely loose on Rick Mass. They think they possibly could have a tire going down as the crew watches the Skoll Classic Ford as it goes down the front straightaway. We'll just have to wait to see if they decide to bring Rick in or not, but right now they're thinking they might have a tire going down.
Other pit stops are being made. Ken Schrader is on pit road, so is Mark Martin. The lead continues to be held by Dale Earnhardt. Here he comes, and it'll be a few more laps probably before Dale comes in for his pit stop. We'll be back with more right after this. Gary for the update, and again, the Dodgers and the Giants at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. ESPN Speed World welcomes you back to the Tyson Holly Farms 400 from North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina, where Dale Earnhardt leads Rusty Wallace, Kyle Petty, Ernie Irvin, and Rick Mass with 279 laps completed.
And there we see Bill Elliott going another lap down in the Budweiser Ford. And right in front of Dale Earnhardt is Terry Labonte, the Kellogg's Cornflakes Chevrolet, who ran so well at the beginning of the race, led about 50 laps.
Bill Elliott was in 13th position. Dick Triple going very slow into turn 3 over there. Let's see if he'll get back to the pits. I think he can make it back to the pits. Down on the inside of the racetrack. Yep, he's going to make it back. There's a lot of Rick Mass coming in for his pit stop. Rick was running in the 5th position. We've noticed that he had slowed on the racetrack, and he fought that about as long as he could. John Wright coming in for new rubber.
Yes, he did. This will be their final scheduled pit stop if this thing goes green. Now they will try and tighten up the car. They will also go with scuff tires. They had been using sticker tires the whole race long, but they've gone with 2 laps scuff. The adjustment made already on the right rear. They swing around into action on the left side. Tires going on for fuel as Terry Labonte heads down pit road. 20 points as Rick Mass gets out ahead of Terry Labonte.
Yeah, Labonte is coming in, however, so is Bill Elliott. All this with about 118 laps to go. Clock running on the Kellogg's crew as they change the right side tires on Terry Labonte's car. Now the Jackman comes over to the left side. Chassis adjustment made. Fuel is in. Still working on the left side now at 22.3 seconds. Terry Labonte moves back out onto the racetrack.
Bill Elliott follows him out of the pits, and they accelerate back up to speed.
And now they hope it goes green until the leaders have to stop.
There we see Labonte. Now comes our leader, Dale Earnhardt. And then he and Rusty Wallace are getting in better and better shape.
Yeah, they really are, because the longer they can run on these tires and stay out there, the fresher the rubber will be towards the end on the other set that they'll put on. And these cars that have stopped already, they're going to be slipping and sliding towards the end.
John Andretti is running right behind Rusty.
I think he stopped to put some tires on. And,
yeah.
The way it stands now, there are only 4 cars in the lead lap. That's Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Kyle Petty, and Ernie Irvin. Neither of them have stopped. Bobby Labonte has moved up into the 5th position. He is 2 laps down. Harry Gant being shown in 6th. He also is 2 laps down, and Jimmy Spencer in 7th, 2 laps down. But none of those cars have made pit stops on the green here.
And here are the rest of the standings from the Autolite Field Summary. The score is 4-2. The Colorado Rockies have scored again. The Braves continue their lead, however, 4-2. And the big important Dodgers-Giants game in less than an hour here on ESPN.
And once again, here comes Ernie Irvin, our pole sitter down pit road. Towards you, Jerry Punch.
And this will be his last scheduled stop anyway for the Haviland Texaco team. Larry McReynolds and crew will go to work, and Larry initially goes to the left rear and takes a round of bite out of the car. Right side tires going on. Norman goes to issue, putting fuel in the car, then cleaning the windshield. Left side jack net on, getting it completely full of fuel. Meanwhile, Dick Trickle is trying to get the Manheim car in the garage. He stops, so let Irvin go by an 18.2-second pit stop for car number 28.
Bobby Labonte was also in. Spencer is in right now for what should be their last pit stop.
Spencer pulls away. Stop. 18 seconds for the Ernie Irvin, Robert Yates, Larry McReynolds team.
Now then, Irvin stopping early is going to put some pressure on these guys to stop.
Yeah, because he's going to be running a good bit faster than them.
And here comes Earnhardt. He's coming in.
Yep, not going to wait any longer. And Rusty. Rusty's going to follow him in as well.
Yes, first and second in at the same time under green. Both staying below 35 miles an hour as they move to their respective pits. Here's Punch with Earnhardt.
A battle of pit crews. Final pit stop. Earnhardt's crew goes to the right side with Jonas Racing operation. Right side and left side tires. Meanwhile, 40 feet up pit road. The Wallace crew working on him. Here's John.
Jerry, already left side tires going on. It's smoking pit stop for the Miller Genuine Draft crew. Top chair and first engine car. Rusty is down and away. Identical pits, 18 seconds even. It doesn't get any closer than that.
They're equal on the racetrack and they're equal off the racetrack.
And Kyle Petty, who's led a lap, he's now in the pits for his pit stop because he can't let him stay out there with those fresh tires. The right sides are changed. Jackets go around the left side. Car is full of fuel. Harry again. He's laying back on pit road. He's back on pit road. Changing 4 tires, and Kyle Petty gets away.
Good pit stop for him. That crew is always fast.
And Harry Gant's Bull Bandit is moving after his final pit stop, or what should be the final pit stop of the day if we continue to run under green. So a lot happening on the racetrack and in the pit area here with now 106 laps to go in the Tyson Holly Farms 400.
With each new day, you find...
Keeping you updated on what's happening in the world of baseball during our coverage of this NASCAR Winston Cup race. The Tyson Holly Farms 400 from North Wilkesboro Speedway has less than 100 laps to go, and we have a new leader. Rusty Wallace passed Dale Earnhardt a couple of circuits ago, and Rusty has taken the lead of this race. This is the shot from the Family Channel blip, and that's how close they are. Rusty, with his rear view mirror full of GM Goodrich black. But this is how Rusty was able to pass Dale. And this is the difference in speed before and after the pit stop. 100 miles an hour. Yes. Now look at the Dale Earnhardt difference. 104.6, 109.2.
Looks like Earnhardt's car is pushing just a little bit because he's not able, when he came out on the fresh tire, he wasn't able to go through the middle of the corner quite as fast as Rusty. But it just might turn out to be better later on for Dale Earnhardt. Here's a replay as Rusty Wallace comes off turn 2, gets alongside Earnhardt, and Earnhardt realizes he's there, gives him the position going in turn 3. Wallace takes the lead.
That's the way we stand now. I might also tell you that Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett were able to get back on the lead lap.
Excepting now Jarrett has gone a lap down. The leaders just passed him a few laps ago. And
So now there are,
a lap down.
what, 7 on the lead lap?
7 cars on the lead lap.
And they are Kyle Petty in 3rd, Ernie Irvin 4th, Rick Mast 5th, Ricky Rudd 6th, and Labonte 7th.
It'll be interesting to see after they run a while. Earnhardt's car is a little bit tight, and most of the time after they run a while, that'll work to his advantage. Wallace's car loosened up before when he ran a while, and we'll see if that happens again.
Rusty Wallace has won twice here at North Wilkesboro. He won the 1988 race, this one, and he is the most recent winner here at North Wilkesboro because he won the event that was held here earlier this year in the spring. We'll take another break and be right back with more from North Wilkesboro. Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch back at North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina for the Tyson Holly Farms 400. Tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Time, join us for NFL Prime Monday as we discuss what happened today in the NFL and what's going to happen tomorrow night in the game. Prime Monday, 7:30 Eastern tomorrow. And the crowd having a great time here at North Wilkesboro under beautiful weather. Kenny Wallace is making a pit stop in the Dirt Devil Pontiac.
He really slowed the last time around, Bob, coming off of turn 4, and was lucky to get it back down on the inside of the track. Several cars had to scramble around, moving around him. Looks like he, I don't know if he has a brake problem or what the situation is, but it's more than just a regular pit stop for tires.
Here's the battle for 5th. Ricky Rudd comes up to try to pass Rick Mast, and Jerry Punch has a report on the Kenny Wallace car.
Ed, you said last time Kenny Wallace did slow as he came by. Apparently he radioed the crew. He thinks he has something broken up in the front of the car in the steering mechanism. And you don't want to have a car you can't steer on a very 5/8 mile track. They had the car up on the jack, and Jeff Hammond and the crew looking underneath the front of the car. Apparently he may have broken something up front with some of the steering linkage.
That's the report on Kenny Wallace, and now we continue to watch this good battle as Ricky Rudd tries to get inside position on Mast.
It's going to get better in a minute because Rusty Wallace is only about 15-20 car lengths behind these two cars.
And Rudd passes Rick coming off turn 4, so Ricky Rudd now goes to 5th position.
And we see Rusty Wallace coming into the picture.
If they want to try to keep him back there if they can, keep him from getting lapped. But Rusty is on a mission. Earnhardt sticking with Rusty, though, staying real close there. You can see just a couple car lengths behind.
Rusty has led 99 of the first 317 laps, and the average speed of the race is 94.3. Last lap, 109.2. And that compares to a top qualifier.
Uh-oh, here comes Earnhardt. Rusty's trying to lap Rick Mast, and Earnhardt gets on the inside.
Mast moves down to the inside of the track, gives us plenty of running room up on the outside. So that's the 6th place car we're seeing go a lap down.
A classic Wallace-Earnhardt duel is what we're seeing here today. Two that are in contention for the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship worth more than $1 million are running 1st and 2nd. And now Wallace once again has to get on the brakes hard because of traffic ahead of him.
He's got two cars, two Hendrick cars, Schrader and Rudd running side by side. Now Rusty will follow Rudd through.
Earnhardt trying to get position on Schrader. This is from the Family Channel blend, by the way. Good shot.
Schrader is being shown in the 11th position. Now he goes 2 laps down.
Here's a Napa field summary. Entire standings last time around. Earnhardt gets by Rudd. There are 4 cars now on the lead lap. Only 1 car not on the racetrack.
Is that Mark Martin was smoking pretty heavily down the back straightaway?
Yep, must have been.
He's coming towards the pits.
Oh, it's been a tough afternoon for Mark Martin.
No
looks like
brakes.
he's got brake problems.
Let's see if he can get stopped as he goes down to his pits.
Pits are way down in turn 1, and yeah, he's going to get the Valvoline Ford stopped okay.
So he was not totally out of brakes.
No.
He got the car stopped. Well, he's going to go on back out now. And let's see what
Stop. They didn't do much.
No, they didn't.
I don't know, but he lost a lap in the meantime because the leaders had just lapped him, and now they've lapped him again.
I wonder if he's going to go around and come back into the garage area right now. I don't know. We'll see. No, he's staying out on the racetrack and running pretty good now.
It's a tight battle up front. Rusty Wallace leading Dale Earnhardt by only a car length or so, with 326 laps completed. Mountain surrounding North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and the Speedway here, which is hosting the NASCAR Winston Cup Tyson Holly Farms 400. Coming up next at 4 o'clock Eastern, about 38 minutes from right now, the big, important game between the San Francisco Giants and the LA Dodgers. We'll be there live with all the coverage here on ESPN Major League Baseball, and in the top of the 7th, the Braves lead the Colorado Rockies by a score of 4-2. And here is Mark Martin, who is in the pits again.
Yeah, this time they're changing 4 tires as if it's a routine type of a pit stop. Still haven't figured out why he came in that other time.
Yeah.
He didn't do much of anything.
Well, Mark is 4th in the point standings coming into this race, and he and Dale Jarrett have been having a good battle for that 3rd position. But Jarrett is having a much better race than Martin here at North Wilkesboro. There's the leader, Rusty Wallace, and right behind him is Dale Earnhardt.
And I tell you what, we've got ourselves a battle for the 3rd spot because Ernie Irvin in the Texaco Howland Ford has caught Kyle Petty there. We see him bumper to bumper as they come off turn 4 right behind Ken Schrader. And Irvin might be the fastest car on the racetrack right now.
He has been steadily gaining, certainly on Kyle. Kyle wasn't really losing that much to Earnhardt and Wallace. Car behind him. He's a good 1/3 of a lap behind them.
This will slow down the progress of Ernie Irvin having to catch and try to pass Kyle Petty as they go by Rick Mast. Meanwhile, our leaders are in heavy traffic as Wallace goes by Dale Jarrett. Now he's closed up on the back of Jerry Cope.
Jerry, what was wrong with Mark Martin that he came in those couple of times?
Bob, I spoke with Steve Meal, and they said they really weren't sure. Mark thought he had a tire that was flat. He came down pit road. Apparently, they've had some radio problems. He sort of surprised him the first time. They looked as he came by slowly. The tire wasn't down. It wasn't flat, so he went back out. Apparently, the loose condition on the racetrack and the vibration continues to decide to come back in and go ahead and rather be safe than sorry and change all 4.
So there's our answer, Ned.
Yep. Jarrett's coming in for a pit stop.
Here's the interval leaderboard. Earnhardt now just car lengths behind. Petty is 5, Irvin 8.7, and Rudd 10.9 seconds behind the leader, Rusty Wallace.
Looks like Earnhardt, looks like that the push that he had, the chassis is coming to him, and Rusty Wallace is losing a little bit, but it looks like right now that Earnhardt might be a tad quicker as Dale Jarrett leaves after another pit stop. Ned, I didn't think he'd stop with 130 laps and go and be able to make it.
No, his car just got slower and slower, and he went another lap down. He decided it's time to come in and put some tires on it.
If Rusty Wallace should win this race here today, he would win both events at North Wilkesboro in '93 and become the first driver since Darrell Waltrip to do that 10 years ago in '83.
Now, if Rusty Wallace leads this next lap, he will clinch the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. He just gained 5 more points.
That's the 124th lap, I believe, that he's led. And when you consider how many everybody else has led, he cannot be passed for most laps led. But Earnhardt is coming up on him, and he's hanging right in there.
He is hanging right there.
And remember, they had that long green flag run a little while ago. It took Earnhardt a while, but then he gradually moved up on it and took the lead. So we'll see if he can do it again. He's got about 57 laps to do it in.
Ned, don't look now, but it's 4-3 because the Rockies have scored again.
Oh, boy, come on down there, Braves. Here we go.
Tom Glavine started today's game for the Braves. I don't know if he's still in or not.
It's 4-3 in favor of the Braves. And the Dodgers and the Giants at 4 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Thank you, Gary, for the update. We are nearing the end. Only 50 more laps to go here at North Wilkesboro. Rusty Wallace continues to lead here. There are the top 5 in NASCAR Winston Cup point standings and where they are running in our event. Earnhardt, the leader in points, is running second. Wallace is the leader. Jarrett, third in points, is running 13th. Martin, 19th. And Morgan Shepherd, 32nd. If points were awarded now, this is how they would look. 72-point spread between Earnhardt and Wallace as Rusty will continue to slip away at the lead, and certainly the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps would help. Dr. Jerry Punch has a report.
Bob, I just talked to Richard Childress here in the Earnhardt pit. He told me, that we could run harder. We could have been running harder, but right now we are trying to save our tires for the final lap. You don't win 5 championships without being smart, and hopefully we're playing it smart right now here at Wilkesboro.
Well, right now, Rusty Wallace has separated himself from Dale Earnhardt by really quite a bit. There are 2 cars between them as Rusty is weaving through the traffic, and Earnhardt is having some problems.
Yeah, he can't afford to let him get too far away because he'll have to abuse those tires to catch back up. Might be saving them right now, and that is good strategy. Can't blame him for doing that at all because the tires really do slow down a lot, but he still can't afford to let Rusty get too far ahead.
Traffic, the heavy traffic that they have just encountered, Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt. Rusty was able to breeze through that pretty well. Earnhardt has had more problems, as we can see on the racetrack, because right now it's 15, 20 car lengths between the 2 and the 3.
And there are 3 cars separating them. Ted Musgrave is behind Rusty and 2 others. There is a Napa field summary. Musgrave and Rick Mast were between Rusty and Dale, but now Dale passes Rick Mast and once again begins to close up on Rusty.
I'll tell you one thing, I would love to see an interval between the 2 and the 28 because it looks to me like that the 28 is the fastest car on the racetrack.
I think he is. I think he's gaining on Rusty Wallace.
There we see Ted Musgrave in the Jasper engine car past Rusty Wallace. Now that they've cleared themselves off the traffic, Earnhardt looks like he's about 6 or 8 car lengths behind Rusty Wallace.
Yep.
Right now, Ernie Irvin is about 5.5 seconds behind Rusty Wallace, but he was about 7 seconds behind. So yes, he is closing it up.
Now, has he got enough time? There's 42 laps to go. There we go. There's Ernie Irvin coming into our picture.
Ernie is third, and the only other car on the lead lap is Kyle Petty. Wallace passing Bobby Labonte.
Earnhardt passes Labonte, gets awfully close to him, going into the turn and coming off the turn. So Labonte gave him plenty of running.
Your wish is our command. We time lapse 3:48 to 3:52, and we will have the information hopefully in just a moment. But I think it will clearly show, as you indicated, that Ernie is slipping away at the lead that Rusty Wallace has. Here it is, the on-track interval. Lap 8 to 3:52 was 8 seconds on lap 3:48, and at lap 3:52, the interval has been decreased by 1.6 seconds.
We see some laps there that Ernie Irvin was able to beat Rusty Wallace by half second.
That has, you can qualify that by saying that Rusty was running through traffic, though, at times.
Yeah, Ernie right now is about 5 8/10 seconds behind the leader, so hasn't actually lost a little bit since I clocked him 2 or 3 laps ago.
And he's running through that traffic that they went through a moment ago. He's having some problems getting around these cars. And we see Rusty Wallace once more diving on the inside of Kenny Schrader. Look here. Here comes Earnhardt. I think they told him, let's go. Here comes Ernie Irvin. He needs to get through this traffic as quickly as he can. Some contact between him and Purvis.
Jeff did a nice job of saving that coming off the fourth corner. Ernie drives around it. It's 5-3 now. Atlanta scored again. 5-3. Atlanta leading Colorado.
Good.
So what Dr. Jerry Punch reported from the pit area a few laps ago could very definitely be coming true. Save the tires and then go for it, because the interval has definitely shrunk between Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt. And when we come back from this commercial, Gary Miller will again have an update on the baseball situation. We'll be back at North Wilkesboro after that. Is nearing its conclusion now, 28 laps to go.
And we have a race on our hands, too. Earnhardt beginning to dog Rusty Wallace a little bit now as they move through some traffic.
We're in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina for the 26th race of the NASCAR Winston Cup season, and Rusty Wallace has the lead over Earnhardt by just a few car lengths. And now the manufacturer's standings, Chevrolet leading Ford by only 3 points, and Pontiac third. On the right is where these respective makes are running in this event. Chevrolet is second, Ford is third, and Pontiac first. There is the 3-point separation, with 9 wins for Chevrolet, 8 for Ford, 8 for Pontiac, and Oldsmobile running, of course, just a few races this year. So it's a close battle for the manufacturer's championship.
I thought maybe Earnhardt would catch Rusty in that traffic and be able to get by, but he was not able to do it.
But Rusty has some more traffic to go through. Ed Musgrave is up ahead, so is Darrell Waltrip and Harry Gant.
Well, Musgrave was past Rusty Wallace just a few laps ago, but he's not been able to drive away from him like I thought he would once he passed him.
25 laps to go. Musgrave, and John Kernan has a report on Rusty Wallace's car.
Well, Bob, we talked about how Dale Earnhardt had backed off a little bit to save his tires. Well, I talked to Buddy Parrott. He had a sly grin on his face saying, oh, our tires are no problem. He said, Rusty's just kind of taking it easy right now. So maybe we haven't seen all that the 2 cars capable of doing.
Okay, well.
That's kind of like when you talk about your handicap in golf. The first liar doesn't have a chance.
Well, Ernie Irvin is dropping back a little bit now, guys. He's over seconds behind.
Bobby Labonte is the highest running rookie in this race. He is currently in 11th position. Let's take a look at the rookie point standings. Jeff Gordon was involved in the very early race incident that essentially put him out of the race. He did come back and run a few laps, but he was the first car out. He'll have 251 after this event. Bobby Labonte running 11th at 199 now, I should say. And Kenny Wallace currently running in 27th position. He has 183 NASCAR Winston Cup rookie points.
And now then we'll go back to the lead. We see Earnhardt. I think someone told him it's time to go, Ned.
Yep. And it is getting time to go. 20 laps to go. So if he's got anything left, he better start using it. He's come up and put a lap on here.
It could be.
6th place.
He's alongside Rusty, but he's got Harry Gant to contend with. He'll have to back off to go into the corner.
Oh, now what's Rusty going to do here? There's 3. He splits Derek Pope and Harry Gant.
And Derek backs off, gives them the room they need. Harry moves down to the inside. Real courtesy there on the part of those drivers. Let the others race for the lead. Gant is running 6th. He's about to go 2 laps down. Has gone 2 laps down.
Boy, this could be quite a finish. Don't go away. There's Andy Petrie, and he is the Western Auto Mechanic of the race. He, of course, is the crew chief on Dale Earnhardt's car. Wallace now stretches it out a little bit.
17 to go.
Rusty conclusion of this event. The overhead shots this afternoon of this Tyson Holly Farms 400 at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And Benny's overzealous crash amounted to nothing.
Well, the car spun out, Bob. Now, come on.
Oh, it got a little ways. It was John Andretti again, over in 2, and it didn't bring out a caution, so nothing really.
Folks, he spun out.
No, he didn't.
Trust me. And yeah, tell you what, but Rusty Wallace has put some distance on Earnhardt. When we went to break, Earnhardt was right there, and you can see Rusty Wallace is pulling away. By Jimmy Spencer, here, right behind Darrell Walterton.
Yeah, he's got himself a comfortable lead now, Benny, and there will only be 10 laps to go when they come back next time around.
To reiterate some things that we pointed out in my opening stand-up at the beginning of the event, I pointed out that Dale Earnhardt has not won a short track race since here 2 years ago. But Rusty Wallace has, for the most part, dominated the short track races this year. In his last 6 events, some of which were short track races, he was 6th, 2nd, 3rd, 1st, and 2nd.
Not too shabby, huh?
Not bad. And he's in the lead here, of course, with less than 10 laps to go. Dale Earnhardt trying all he can to challenge Rusty and pick up some points rather than lose more.
There we see him going by Michael Waltrip, and there we see that pump smoke again in that big front.
There aren't a whole lot of races going on here in the closing stages of this race. That's why we're continuing to watch to see if Earnhardt can catch Rusty Wallace, but no positions are being contested at the moment.
And Ernie Irvin was gaining a little bit on the front two. He stopped that momentum, and he's basically maintaining.
Ernie is 3rd, Kyle Petty's 4th. Those cars on the lead lap, a lap down in 5th is Ricky Rudd. 6th is Harry Gandon. 7th is Terry Labonte, and both Gandon and Labonte are 2 laps down. Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac about to complete 394 laps. There are 6 to go.
Never see Darrell Walton right in front of it, Bobby Labonte, so a couple of cars side by side. I don't know. Maybe this could do something for Earnhardt. We'll see. Ooh, Labonte comes down. No.
Again, we're seeing that puff of smoke from the left front of the number 2 car. 5 laps to go. Rusty has already won 7 times in this series this year.
Fabulous year that Rusty Wallace, Buddy Parrott, and this entire Penske South crew has had. Don Miller, all these guys are to be congratulated on a great, great 1990 season.
He's in traffic with 2 to go. But everybody's going to give him plenty of room. Passes Todd Bodine, who was competing in his very first race here in North Wilkesboro.
Todd Bodine has an extremely sore neck after last night's Bushman National race over at Orange County Speedway.
Was won by Hermie Sadler.
His first ever Bush race. Congratulations, Hermie. Rookie this year in that series. Came home with victory.
So I got to be a party in Emporia, South Hill, Virginia tomorrow. Maybe today.
Yeah.
Here comes Rusty. We're getting down to it. 2 to go. See the Earnhardt, he's still 15-20 car lengths behind. See Rusty, there to see Earnhardt.
Now the white flag is about to be displayed, indicating 1 more lap to go. There it is. Just 1 more lap around this 5-8-mile racetrack here in North Wilkesboro, and the victory will belong to Rusty Wallace, looking for his 8th win of the season and his 29th career NASCAR Winston Cup victory in 296 starts. Here comes the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac off of corner number 4. Rusty Wallace has won the Tyson Holly Farms 400. Dale Earnhardt finishes in 2nd position. And we're watching for Ernie Irvin to come by in 3rd.
He does. Oh, and the water bucket goes on somebody.
Earnhardt pulls alongside Rusty and salutes him. Here's John Kernan.
Well, buddy, congratulations on another big victory for this team.
I tell you what, this was a real big victory. You know, Rusty's going to do a little lap out there for his buddies, Alan Kawicki, and I hope he don't hit the wall with it. Anyway, that was a great win for the Penske Racing team, Miller Genuine Draft, all the sponsors and tires. But anyway, I'm just excited about it. You know, we raced Earnhardt real hard, and now it looks like that's the way it's going to go down. We probably got about 10 points on him. We led the most laps and all that. So we can just keep clicking away at them, you know. They got a heck of a team over there, so we're going to do all we can.
Well, congratulations, buddy. As Rusty circles the track in the Alan Kawicki victory lap. Brad who also works on the team on the crew changing tires, giving Rusty a number 28 Davey Allison flag, Bob.
Yeah, this salute is definitely for Alan Kawicki and Davey Allison. Victory lap has been completed. Rusty Wallace now moves into victory lane, and we'll be back to talk with him in a moment. Thank you, Gary. And of course, if the Giants should win today, then we'd have a big game tomorrow night here on ESPN. Rusty Wallace begins the movement upward toward victory lane. They put a car on the lift here and move it up to victory lane, but he has won the Tyson Holly Farms 400 here at North Wilkesboro, and an incredible short track season wraps up. He never finished lower than second in the 8 short track races that were run this year. Here are the updated point standings. It now moves down to a 72-point interval between Earnhardt and Wallace, as Rusty picks up, what, about 7 points?
10 points.
10 points.
82 to 72 is 10.
Dale Jarrett remains in 3rd, Mark Martin 4th, and Morgan Shepherd in 5th. 6 through 10 in the point standings is Kyle Petty, Ken Schrader, Ernie Irvan, Bill Elliott 9th, and Ricky Rudd is 10th after today's race.
Jeff Gordon, what was he starting?
I think he was
top 10 about all day, but
he was 10th going in, but because he was involved in that first lap crash, he really suffered today point-wise. Rusty Wallace with 5 short track wins this year, and in the other 3, he finished second. Without question, the king of the short tracks in 1993.
Well, that's unbelievable.
It is.
As tough as it is to run those short races.
Here's our AC Delco winner's circle and Jerry Punch.
Well, Rusty Wallace, congratulations. Just an incredible day, but an incredible short track season for this team.
It's been a really good team. This Roger Penske-owned team has really did a good job all year long. I'm proud of the team and the engine program, Miller Genuine Draft, and my car owner Roger Penske, all of them. Everybody's working real hard on this team to try to get us our championship, and we're just chipping away in the 3 car. You know, he's relentless. I got to hand it to him. He had a good car today, but we got the most laps led, and I think we gained 10 or 15 on him today, and that's what it takes.
You gained 10 points. You're now back by 72. Some question that maybe Dale wasn't showing his whole hand, but with 18 laps to go, he pulled within a half a car length, and then you pulled away, so maybe you weren't showing it.
No, I had everything I did, but what happened was just taking so much time to maneuver around traffic. That was like ice skating out there, and so when I'd have to go to the top side, everybody, when I got ready to pass somebody, they'd motion me outside, and when I go outside, it really slowed me down, so I told my spotter, I said, hey, Steve will let me go to the bottom. And when I did that, it worked out better, and it was a great day.
Last 200 laps, we kept seeing a little puff of smoke out of the left front of the car. What was that?
I was using the brakes pretty hard, and they told me about it. In fact, I got the information from you guys, you know, and I said, well, I better throttle back a little bit and save this unit. So I did that, and everything worked out good, but good car, good crew, fast pit stops, good, reliable number 2 Miller Genuine Draft car. That's what I need.
And 4 to go. The question is, can Rusty do it? He's 72 back, Bob.
And it's his 3rd career victory here at North Wilkesboro. In 20 starts, his 13th career short track win. We wanted to talk with Dale Earnhardt, but he got in his passenger car and left the racetrack immediately. But we'll be back with more from North Wilkesboro after this. By Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. By AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. And by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. Once again, our thanks to the Family Channel Blimp for the aerial shots and to pilot Rafael Arroyo. Nice job up there, guys. There's the Family Channel Blimp, and John Kernan is with Ernie Irvin, who finished third.
Well, Ernie, another fine run. No, you guys would have liked to have won 2 in a row, but third place is not too bad considering you lost a lap early, but you made the right pit strategy.
I tell you, we had to pit a little bit early because we had went to running so slow, but this Texaco Haviland Ford team, they really came to us. They made it a chassis adjustment, changed a set of tires, and we come back and lapped ourselves and ran up to third then, and then had a great pit stop on the caution and come up to second, and couldn't quite get up there and lead a lap, but it was a great run for us.
Ernie Irvin with a third place finish, Bob, and I tell you, the way this team is coming together, everybody else better watch out next year.
Yeah, they certainly have a jump on the 1994 season here late in 1993. We will be back with the full field rundown. Don't forget baseball coming up at 4. We'll be right back. Wilkesboro, and again the point standings. Dale Earnhardt, a 72-point advantage now on the winner of this race, Rusty Wallace. And here are the official, unofficial rundown of this race. Gant, Labonte, Mass, Jarrett, and Schrader in the top 5 now. At the second 5, I should say. Now, the big race we have coming up here on ESPN is the finale from Atlanta. That'll be the next NASCAR Winston Cup telecast. And not only will we determine the Winston Cup champion that weekend, but we'll probably also determine 2 other racing champions because we'll have the final ARCA race of the year and the final Busch Grand National race of the year. So it should be exciting in Atlanta. Our congratulations to the Miller Genuine Draft team for winning today's race and Rusty Wallace. He took the final Polish victory lap, carrying the flag of Davey Allison, saluting Davey and the late Alan Kulwicki. Well, my thanks to Ned Jarrett, Parsons, and John Kernan and Jerry Punch for their work down on pit road. Once again, the winner of today's race here in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, was Rusty Wallace. For Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch, this is Bob Jenkins. So long, everyone.